Besides this is obviously going to be, if you want to know what really happened, you need to watch this. This is the only place you're going to get this type of interview or
I don't really know what this is, but I didn't do it. I'm innocent, Judge. I'm not guilty. I'm innocent.
We, the jury, being duly impaneled and sworn, find the defendant, Matthew L. Moore, not guilty of murder, as he stands charged in count 1 of the indictment.
Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is. Well, it's good morning for you Americans, good afternoon for us in the UK. Hope you're doing well, guys. Hope everyone's well. Thanks for everyone. There's a lot more people than I thought, than I planned, but appreciate all of you being here. Laura, shout out to you. GB Turtle Rider here. Where are you from, Laura? From Wales, by any chance? But yeah, welcome everybody. There's lots of people in the chat. I appreciate all of you being here. Now, I didn't expect, so today's stream is slightly different to what I had it planned because we've got Sean coming on. And obviously, when you've got Sean coming on, you're going to have to change the course on this stream. So, shout out to Sean. Literally, he just jumped on now. He's backstage. He's still got some work to do for his wife, but he will be jumping on very shortly now. So, I'll just leave it for a few people to come in, and then I'll explain to you what's going on, what we're going to do. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the show. Hopefully you understand me. Someone said that the Welsh accent's similar to the Boston accent. So if it is, awesome. If it's not, come back and watch on replay crew. Shout out replay crew as well. There's a bunch of you that always watch me on replay because you can use subtitles. So shout out to you guys who are watching this on replay. But yeah, welcome to everyone. Laura, welcome to you from fellow Brits. We've got James, J, H Bag, loving it. Mimi, look at this, free Karen Reid. So this little lady here, Erin Hack, some of you might have seen her, she's in every stream going, but Erin Hack is one of my members. And Erin Hack is the sole reason I have Sean on this channel. Not sole reason, but she's a big part of why I have him on this channel. So I've only recently been covering Karen Reid. Those that know me know I don't deal with fictions. I don't deal with like all this bullshit. The drama, drama's fine, but I don't deal with all crap. I want facts, and I've been struggling for the last couple of weeks to articulate my feelings about this case and why I believe that Karen shouldn't even be, shouldn't even be arrested in this case. And Erin, she posted a link to a channel called The Young Jerks. I'm sure many people here know about it. And I don't watch other people's content because I like to come into my own streams with my own ideas, with my own thought processes. You can agree, disagree with me, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I like to have my own thoughts, not based on anyone else's thoughts. But I clicked on it for whatever reason, and the clip I'm about to show you in a little bit is the whole reason I'm doing this stream, because it perfected, Sean on it perfected everything I believe about this trial, well, 95% of it. And for whatever reason that was, intervention, whatever you call it, that's why I'm doing this stream. This is why I believe that Karen Reid is innocent. And when you got, like, I reached out then to Mike and said, hey, see your stream, do you mind if I nick your about half an hour of your content with Sean? Because he just articulates it so well. I could listen to this guy for hours. He articulates stuff. He's saying stuff that I want to say, but I can't say. As you can see, I'm not the best person at articulating things. That's not my strongest point. So when you got someone like Sean who was able to articulate in to a wider audience what he believes, and you find that content, you better bloody use it. I'm not gonna like regurgitate it or con it or rip it, and like many people I'm sure would, but it's boring. But when you find that content, you want to use it. So shout out to the Young Jerks and also to Sean. Anyway, I'm digressing, but main reason here is that Erin Hack posted a link in my Discord about this in the Karen Read section. So shout out to you, Erin, for that, because otherwise we won't be having this stream. I'm not going to give you too much credit, but I'll give you that much. So here we are. Kim, welcome, Kim. Thank you for covering this and having Sean on. Hey, guys, trust me, I'm more thankful for Sean for coming on. Why? He doesn't have to be here today. So we've interacted separately, obviously, through DMs. He's watched some of my content, and he was really happy. He was like, I like your style. I want to listen to you. I want to come on. He wants to come on again after this, even though we haven't done this stream yet. There's a lot more he wants to discuss with me, which I'm loving. I'm loving it. So, Spacey, Stacey, love the names. Look at this. Mimi. Happy days. Well, I don't know Sean that well, Mimi, but I can tell you now that already my interactions with him, I love him. He's a great dude. Good morning, Peter. Spacey Stacey. What a name. Sorry, but some of these names, I love it. Sitting and work in Boston, about the super unproductive here. So Boston, the only thing I know about Boston is the Patriots. Obviously, I know the Patriots dynasty. Obviously, Belichick, Tom Brady, and it's that whole saying. The only reason I know this saying is because of this person. But is it Brady, Belichick, Portnoy, or something like that? So Dave Portnoy, I'm a big fan of Dave Portnoy. I'm a big fan of Barstool Sports. Got introduced to Barstool Sports about 2-3 years ago, and I've delved into it ever since. Love it. One bite, everyone knows the rules. So I'm a big fan of Dave Portnoy and Barstool. So that's how I got to know a little bit about Boston, to be quite honest with you. And then through that, Kirk Minahan, Dave Cullinane, and all that, Shabazz. Good morning, Kim Kelly. I thought for sure we would have a presser today with Levy. Yeah. Still, sorry if you could hear some banging. I've got construction going on. True. Right. Thank you, Mexi. Mexi, my mods. Can you please like that button? All I can ask you today, if you can please like that button and subscribe, I'll be very grateful. It's great for my algorithm. On that note, I'll just tell you what we're doing, right? Because some people have come in now. So after discussing with Sean, what we're trying to do, he's literally behind the scenes right now. He's literally I've just come off a call with him. He's got a little bit of work to do with his wife again, but he's listening. And the plan is I'm going to play this video for half an hour, untouched. So what I planned on doing was playing this video for about an hour and a half, as in discussing it. But he still wants me to play the video, because, in effect, that's his words are what I believe in. So I'm going to play the video from the Young Jerks. So shout out to them. Then he's going to pop on. Then we're going to discuss, because I've got some questions for him. If you've got questions for him, I know some of you will have watched this video already. I know you would have. But my members, my audience will never have watched it except for Erin Hack, maybe. So this is new to a lot of people. So shout out to you guys. Let's watch this. And what we'll do is we'll discuss it. If you've got questions, or I've certainly got some questions for him. Then I've got a snippet which I want to discuss about that Grant Ellis Smith. I want to discuss him very briefly about some of his recent comments, and I've got another bit I want to discuss with Sean as well. So that's basically the structure. Around in about half an hour, he's jumping on. So as soon as we finish this video, he's jumping on, and we can have a chat about it. So yeah, that's the plan. But just before that, we'll leave it for a couple more minutes, so we'll play it. But Jay Berg, hello across the pond. Hello, my friends. Hello, Paul. Joining alternate community, corner community. Become a taco. Hey, Paul. One earbud here, pulled over. I love it. Hey, Kim again. Virginia. Hello from New Mexico, land of enchantment. Happy days. You're from everywhere. Well, I'm from Wales. I'm just so you guys know, I'm from Wales. I cover trials. I try to cover those that I believe in. Like now, I'm into Karen Read. I believe in her innocence and stuff like that. So it's easier when you cover trials. I believe in the person. So that's my kind of style. You see in my intro, we've got, I'm not sure if you know these guys, but Matthew Moore, he was found innocent of killing his wife. He's on my stream every Saturday. We talk about his experience. I'm a big advocate of Zachary Anderson. If you don't know that, trial is from Wisconsin. That guy, basically similar to Karen, was railroaded. He's in prison now for life for crime I believe he did not commit. It was a DA, corruption within the DA and all sorts. So I'm passionate about stuff like this. I'm passionate about injustice and stuff like that. So that's why I'm going to be covering Karen Reid. I'm boring. I don't have hot takes because I base everything off facts and not hot takes. So sorry about that. But that's why I think me and Sean are getting on so well, because we call a spade, and we don't want bullshit. So you Kevin Morrissey is probably scheming to arrest Stevie. Yeah, so there's a lot of people here. Hello, I'm sorry if I don't get to you all. Boston, corrupt. I can't say Massachusetts. I can't say it, guys. I can't. Massachusetts. I can't say it. Massachusetts. Corruptachusetts. I can't say it. I'm not taking the piss. I just can't say it. Massachusetts. Fuck's sakes. I can't say it. Hello, Kevin. Morning. Good morning. Lots of those Massachusetts people in the house. Hi, Dilemma Rider. Hello, buzzing for the truth. Hello, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. 9:50 a.m. here. I mean, look, there's a lot of stuff videos you see if you watch my videos about me with the rider. Boy, I've done I'm not sure if some of you might know Dave Cullenhane, but Dave Cullenhane's a big shout out to him. He sometimes joins me on these Karen Reid streams. He was the one that because I wasn't a big fan of Tilboy, but he made me do a 360. So I accept a lot more what Tilboy has done and what he's achieved. So and I think about a month ago that wasn't the case. And I'd like to admit when I'm wrong. I'm wrong. You've got to put your hands up sometimes when you're wrong. I was wrong about Tilboy. I think I'm openly admit that. I'm always happy to admit when I'm wrong. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. 9:58 here. It's nearly 3 o'clock here. Shawnee, Spacey. So yeah, so many of you guys. I can't get through all of you, but just know that we love you all. Look forward to hearing from Sean. I'm sure you all. None of you are here for me, Shelley. I know. I will get the video up now. This is again shout out to the Young Jerks. Description. Their LinkedIn's in the description box. Shout out to Sean as well. So as I say, this is basically Sean speaking on my behalf. So, hey KB, I love this. Don't know how did you find out about the KR case? It's actually on Twitter. Someone from Boston. Her name's Beth. She posted something with Karen Reid. I looked into it, and the lady for a long time. A couple of my viewers wanted me to cover it, but I didn't know anything about it. Boston, all that. I didn't know anything. Then I started reading. Basically, Jennifer Coffin that first started tweeting about the Karen Reid case, and as soon as she starts tweeting, I listen because what comes out of her mouth, 90% of it's bullshit. To be quite frank with you, so as soon as she told me this Karen Reid person was guilty, I'm like, well, I mean, this is some bullshit then. So that's how I started looking into it. I got to know Turtle Boy. I was a bit put off at the start. Then I got a better understanding, and now recently I've gone into Karen Reid. Based, as I say, looked at some of the documentation. I've still got more to read, but what we're about to cover here, essentially, is the whole reason why I haven't read everything yet, because I believe she's 100% innocent. So, as I say, some of you have seen this before, but I'm not going to apologise for that. I think it's well worth looking again. So again, shout out to the Young Jerks. Thank you, Mike, for allowing me to play this. And as I say, I could make this into my own content instead, but I don't believe in bullshit. This is his content. This is Sean's content. I'm regurgitating it by using them, and we'll have Sean on straight after this then to discuss it. So any questions, put it in the chat. So thank you, everybody. Let's get on with it. You're not here to listen to me. So yeah, let's get on.
We got a few here.
The claim, you can see, the victim's SUV move, indicating that there was a collision.
Can you back that up, Mike?
Yeah, let's try to play it again. Hold on a second.
The SUV parked. And the defense says that she makes contact, hits the victim's SUV right there, damaging that back right passenger side taillight. And they also claim you can see, the victim's SUV move, indicating that there was a collision.
Stop it right there, Mike. Stop it right there.
Victim's SUV.
Let me get it back.
Yeah,
right there.
Right there. Okay. This can tell everything. So right off the bat, what do we see? Oh, let me step back. When that court TV video came out, I said, this is a gold mine. This is the thing that's going to make this case or break it. Okay. And I took upon this as my little pet project. And then I brought a friend of mine from Boston. He was not a part of the original team, even though everyone thinks it was a fake team. But he and I really analyzed this. So I'm glad you stopped it. And this is very important. See the tracks of Karen backing up, okay? And don't move yet, Michael. But
nope, yeah, we're not moving.
There's going to be a later picture where we show those tracks. The track to the left, all right, you can see how those tracks are not going straight back. They go in at an angle, okay?
Exactly.
And that angle is going to be crucial because that is how myself and my partner determine the exact point where Karen cracked her taillight. There is no doubt. People, what I don't get, people keep saying, well, Sean, she cracked the taillight, but you're saying she didn't. No, she cracked the taillight. Absolutely. That's where she cracked it. And so now this is where I started my journey. Okay. I looked at that right rear, right side of the taillight. See how it is completely intact?
Yeah.
Now, that's 5:08 in the morning. Listen, I've beaten this thing dead. I've had people say, Sean, get off the goddamn taillight. No, this is what is going to make
this is the case.
This is the case right here.
Yeah, because Proctor said the taillight was smashed and it doesn't look smashed.
Well,
and this is at 5:08, and this is how it got cracked. You're showing that it was like well after they said she hit him.
I actually said it was smashed. Proctor's own words in his own affidavit that he raised his right hand to swear on, okay? And just remember this. If they lie once, they'll lie many times. He said when he went, 12 hours, 13 hours later to Dighton, that right rear, right side taillight, it's right there facing you, quote unquote, was shattered and a large chunk missing.
That's right.
Okay.
But he didn't take any pictures in Dighton.
Didn't take any pictures. And just
remember, who doesn't? Everyone has a cell phone in their pocket. Why wouldn't the first thing he does is inspect the car? I mean, that just.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And take a picture.
And of course, the tow truck driver confirms that there was no damage. Now, listen, did he see the crack? Probably not, because it was snowing, all kinds of snow. And where that taillight was cracked is in between the brake light and the red. We'll analyze it more down the road, but it is clear as daylight right there at 5:08 in the morning. That taillight is intact, and there's no two ways about it. And so you can play it through, and then we can go to the next one, which is the actual.
The collision, victim's SUV.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't cut you off.
Right, that's fine. That's fine. So the next one is the we're zoomed in now on the back left tire of John's Traverse, where it juts forward and there's definite impact. You cannot deny that.
Let's play that one.
Sure.
I think this is it.
Yeah. You have to. Yeah.
That's one of them. This is another angle too. Let's watch this one.
This is the one I want right there.
Well, it's really quick. People can see it move.
Yeah, you can do it again.
Yep.
It gets better. There it is. One more time.
I don't know why it doesn't play again. It's weird.
You can do it. You can just do it. Right there. The whole car moves. Now, the interesting part about that and the other video.
Right there. That's right when it moves right here. Watch this, people. We'll watch it one more time. Yep. Okay.
Right. So 2 things stand out in both videos. When Karen's backing up and she made impact, John's vehicle literally stopped her car, because you can see after impact is made, it's like maybe a second, maybe 3/4 of a second that she engages her brake light. You can see it as clear as daylight. So we know there was impact made. No deniability on that. So now, if you want to go to your slides, we can show the tracks, and we have, okay, there you go. This is perfect, okay? So clearly, and I owe this all to my friend, we'll call him D. This guy's a master, he really is. And see how those the tracks are off-centered?
Yep.
That is the actual angle she's going in. And if you look at the end of that track at the left side, that's the end of the tire. Well, there's 40 inches left from the end of that tire to the bumper, okay? Now, think closely. Everyone say, oh, it was bumper to bumper. No, it wasn't, okay? It wasn't bumper to bumper. Okay, what it was the taillight on Karen's car. That rear taillight is rounded and it juts out 5 inches. We measured it. You might have it there. There's no problem. Trust me. The people who follow me know that I've killed this a million times. That taillight in the corner, the rounded edge, because that's a key, the rounded edge, all right, juts out 5 inches. When the car made impact, now you can go to the next slide. It made impact, we theorized, maybe around that area right there, which is where the hatchback and the windshield wiper for the rear windshield is affixed. Now, it doesn't take much to understand that a 6,500-pound vehicle going into a stationary vehicle at 40, let's say 4,500 pounds, right? The laws of motion, all right? Sir Isaac Newton. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. We see the car get stopped by the other car, not by the brake. That's important. There was definite impact that caused that crack. No doubt about it.
That's the spot right where the windshield wiper is. That's
right in that area. Right in that area.
The circle.
And that people need to look at that area very closely, because that's an important part of the other part of this investigation, right at that area.
I mean, our friend Olivia Nile just weighed in too. She just said, you know what's wild? Karen doesn't have to prove that her car did in fact hit John. It's the state's burden to prove her car didn't impact John. This video quickly settles that debate. She did. So
Olivia is, I call her the combat analyst. She's amazing. She's a combat analyst.
Combat. It is like combat. And this is what you're talking about, the jutting out of the tail light, right?
This is real. This is incredible, because at the end of this little slideshow, this happens to be the coup de grace. It has to be, okay? What do we have here? We have, obviously, the right side of the taillight. You can't miss it. It's right there looking at you. It's completely illuminated. It's red because we had to expose it a little bit more. But look in the corner where that arrow is pointing. That is the rounded edge, and that juts out 5 inches, okay? That, everyone needs to keep their eye on that part right there, because that's the only part, remember this, it's the only part of the taillight that's rounded. All the rest are flat, straight, whatever. That part is the only part that's rounded. Remember, 5:08 in the morning.
5:08. It's funny. We got a lot of comments, and someone said that, why do we have so many trolls in here? I haven't even been reading them. I don't even know.
They're
we have
fine.
We have 1,400 people, so I don't think the trolls are going to mean anything tonight.
Let them in. They're fine. They're all
let them in. Let them in.
They're harmless. They really are. They're on their last breath. They know it.
So there we go.
Right, there you go. Come on. Now listen, if that thing was shattered, right, with a large piece missing. I don't know what he meant by large piece missing. Well, that would be bare. That would be like a half moon coming at you, right? Because we see the video. We do see the video as she's leaving live. It's all red. Everything's red. These are exposed higher to show, all right? It may look white to you, but it's not. In reality, if you see the whole video, everything's completely red. And I see it right now. And I'm going to make this exactly as clear as possible, okay? See that circle right there? If any part of that, what's inside that circle, would ever make its way into evidence, well, you got a duck and it's quacking because someone planted evidence. There's no way any part of that portion right there, which Proctor said under the pains and penalty of perjury, was shattered with a large piece missing. He's caught. He's caught because it's not there at 5:08. It clearly didn't happen at 12:30 that evening when they alleged, the Commonwealth, that he hit John, that the car and Karen hit John. Come on, who we fooling here? Okay, that right there. Oh, incidentally, this is the other thing. Jen says it's a crack. Kerry says it's a crack. Karen says it's a crack. They all saw it right after this car left. You know who doesn't say it's a crack? Proctor. He never once in his affidavit, other than quoting Jen, Kerry, and Karen, that there was a crack. He never said it. He said, and I know why he said it. He said it was shattered with a large chunk missing. Look at that picture. Look at that circle. Well, let's put it like this. I know it's not going to go to trial. All right, I know it. But if it ever did go to trial, I can tell you right now, if any part that's included in that circle, would ever make its way into listen, we're talking about 37 plus pieces of taillight that they supposedly found. If any part of the 37 pieces are in evidence, you got a person that's looking at some time in jail. I don't know who that person was. I can tell you right now, the guy who put his hand, right? He lied in that affidavit.
I can't believe that we don't have a picture of it. Like, I just can't believe that we don't have a picture of it. That's
there has to be a picture, because there has to be a picture. He has to justify, all right, what he put in the affidavit. Of course, there's a picture. We know there's a picture, but that picture right there, just remember 5:08 a.m. And he's saying that whatever the hell time he said he got to Dighton, he's saying that 4:30, it's shattered with a large piece missing. Well, you can tell right above the circle, that rounded edge. It's there. It's there. And we're going to see what it ends up at towards the end of the picture here. All right.
What do we got on this one?
Yeah. So there again, it's red, right? It's not shattered. That's the right rear, right? He didn't say right middle. He didn't say right left. He said right rear, right side, right? Well, that circle is exactly what he said. Right rear, right side. That right there is intact. Okay? Again, I mean, this is a duck, guys. I mean, come on. This is a duck. It's quacking. It's waddling. Whatever you want to say. This is a duck. All right. Now, this is where my partner and I theorize, right? Because it's probably the best. That's where the crack happened, right around there. That's what Kerry Roberts saw all the way coming back from Jen McCabe's house. That's what Karen Reed showed Jen McCabe and Kerry. That's what they said to Proctor and Company, that, oh, by the way, Karen said, and we saw that the car had a crack. That's where the crack was. That's in the middle. That's not on the left, and it's not on the right, because we got Proctor saying it was on the right rear, right side. Hey, listen, I didn't write the report. I'm just using his words. This study that me and my partner did was so easy, because what we did was we basically used his own words against him. I mean, I said this on Dave's show. Dave's a great guy, Dave McGrath.
Yeah, I love Dave. Good,
You're
good
right.
man.
Listen, they always say it's not the crime, it's the cover up. Okay, so here's the deal with this. 35 years. You may mess up the investigation in order to frame someone. Don't ever mess up the cover up, because you control the cover up. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll keep it GP for you. There is no way. They right there completely messed up the cover up. They demolished the cover up. They ruined their investigation, but they demolished the cover up. Somebody's going to jail behind that lying on the affidavit and planting of the evidence, because the next slide, I think it's coming up. Well, that's okay. So stop right there. And this is even better.
Well, yeah. What are we looking at on this one? Because I've seen this and I always wondered where this photo came from. What is this?
So what we're looking at, Mike, is it's Karen's car, right? And the whole taillight housing has been removed. Now, Sergeant Peter Murphy, retired 30 plus years, Canton Sergeant, was on the original Five Guys that didn't exist. He was in the shadows when I first came out, okay? And I identified Brian Wallace, identifying himself to a source. I called at the time my source, that Brian Wallace admitted not once, twice, to have removed the taillight housing. Now, I've said this before. It's not per se what Brian did. It's not illegal. They wanted to remove it. That's fine. They probably wanted to do high-speed analyzation, try to get DNA, whatever the hell they wanted to do. It's not what he did. It's what the investigators didn't do. They didn't include Brian Wallace in their reports. And the most critical thing, and I used this before many times, all right? I did this myself as a crime scene guy. There was a murder in Arlington. Guy used a pistol, handgun, right? So we could secure the scene, as always. That's the number one thing, you secure it. So the murder weapon is on the ground by the body. We don't know if it's suicide. We don't know what happened, but we have to secure the weapon, all right? That's the Commonwealth's murder weapon, okay? So if someone in the case that I talked about when I was processing the murder in Arlington County back in 1985, somehow removed the magazine from the pistol, which is fine. It's okay. You wear your gloves the whole night, take the magazine out. You want to count the bullets, it's all fine. If I omitted that action for him, for example, I never wrote about it. I just said, yeah, we put the gun into evidence. Well, that's a lie. I have scoured the reports 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Not once does Brian Wallace show up on any report, but the most crucial thing he's not on is the chain of custody for evidence. And the chain of custody in court parlance is, if you break that chain, that evidence is considered tainted. Brian Wallace removed that housing from the vehicle, the taillight. There's no report of it. Who touched it? Where did it go? Hey, listen, they said they found John's blood. How do you know the red solo cups weren't used to dab it and put blood on it? I'm just saying, because guess what? It's free game now. Any good defense attorney said, well, guess what? We're going to put Brian Wallace on the stand, but we're going to put his good buddy, the guy that supervised him for X amount of years. And by the way, the guy who took copious notes and said on such and such a date 2 times, he admitted to me he took the taillight housing out. You know the thing he didn't admit, which is absolutely crazy. The one thing, when Peter Murphy asked him, who told you to remove it? Then Brian Wallace shut down. He wouldn't give that. He would rather admit to possibly tampering with evidence, but he wouldn't give up the person who called him in to remove the taillight. That's crazy. It's ludicrous, but that's what that picture is. That was after the cops took it, put it into MSP evidence.
I wonder what Wanless might have told the FBI, because your source talked to the FBI too, right?
Oh, my source, two of the Canton police sources talked to the FBI. So I don't know if Brian was spoken to. I know he's being hard. I know he's toeing the line. I know he's made representation that he might have a shady memory. I don't know. The guy, in all accounts, has been a good guy, a good police officer. I don't know. But again, he might be saved by the bell, because I don't think this is ever going to go to trial.
I'd love to hear from him if he wants to talk to us.
I don't think he'll talk to you.
I'm just throwing it out there, Brian. We just want to be fair. So this is what's going on with this one.
Okay, so here we are. All right. Now listen. You understand, this is a close-up from Karen Reed's parents. I think it's Alarm. It's not Ring. It's probably alarm.com.
Alarm.com. That's right.
Okay. So now this is obviously exposed. We don't know what the condition, but it's definitely on. It's about to be put on to the back of the tow truck. Okay. I'll tell you right now, you cannot deny that right there is still intact. All right. I mean, it's right there. You can't deny it's not intact. And guess what? All Proctor had to do was take a photo. Take a photo of what he said he saw upon arrival. That's in Dighton. That's 13 hours after the alleged, that's almost 17 hours after the alleged murder of John O'Keefe.
It doesn't look shattered. That's for sure. It
No,
doesn't look like it has a large piece missing
No.
either.
And right where that, that colored right there, the kind of yellowish, okay?
Yep.
There's two LED lights, okay? And if that happened to be shattered, and a person from Lexus Naples told me, Lexus of Naples, and their head tech said, if that side was shattered, first of all, he said it'd be very difficult for a human body to break anything on that taillight. But if that was shattered, the LEDs would not be functioning. I suggest right now that those LEDs are they're illuminated. You cannot dispute that. And Proctor had it's 101. You take a picture. Matter of fact, they should have just been on that completely, marked it for evidence, did something.
I think they did take a picture of something, which was this.
Well, here we go.
When they found the evidence hours later.
Yeah. So
they didn't find it when they first searched the scene. They found this like hours later, right?
So let's just be very, very clear here. Like I told you back when we saw the arrow saying that taillight juts out 5 inches. And I told you on that taillight, that's the only curved part back at 508 that is intact, right? The only curved part. Well, the only curved part miraculously shows up at they say 545. Like I said, they say 545. They don't identify the trooper who found it. They don't identify where it was found. I don't know if it was picked up and put there. I don't know. I don't see a report. You're supposed to be able to accurately describe. Okay, for instance, on such and such a date at such and such a time, Special Agent McDonough, while digging, located this red piece, and immediately upon where he found it, because you're supposed to document and photograph with particularity where you found it. Okay, that I can tell you right now is not where they dug. All right. Matter of fact, if you look below that photo, if it came out because it's blown in, that's a shoe print below that. Below the taillight. That's a shoe print. So right there, and listen, our friend Kevin seems to think that planting evidence is an extraordinary feat. Extraordinary. But let me tell you right now, the fact he's saying, oh my God, they had news crews, they had cops, they had neighbors. That's what you want. You want confusion. You want someone to slip in. You know what it takes to take only 3 pieces. That's the only thing that left, Canton PD. You know what it takes to bend over? Everyone's doing their jobs. They're setting up lights. the camera crews looking around. They don't know who to watch. They don't know if to watch the captain, they this, whatever. You know what it takes to actually put your hand down and put it in the ground? Kevin, for some reason, thinks, oh my God, it would be virtually impossible. I can tell you right now, we would set up scenes in training, right? DEA training, right? Where we'd hide dope and all this stuff. It's extremely easy. When you have a passion to frame someone, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. This was simple, and they blew it. I'm telling you right now, that piece is on her car at 5:08. I said it on Dave's show. I'll say it again. There's not many hills people will go on to die on. I will die on this hill on the taillight. And someone is going to jail for planting evidence. This case is over because of that planting right there. I don't know who it was. The DA said that Proctor never went to the scene. I found that very hard as a lead detective. He never went to the scene. I'll take the DA's word. Someone else did. Someone took, I'm going to tell you right now, they busted that taillight. They smashed it back at Canton. Canton had no jurisdiction. They had to get the car back to Canton because of the closest area to get to that crime scene, right? That was the crime scene. Don't let any fake person tell you that the scenes are ever changing. That's the crime scene, bottom line.
And then later, I don't know what his title was at this point. Was he even the police chief, or he had just retired as police chief? He showed up, Berkowitz, who had been the police chief forever, and he found more pieces later too, right?
Yeah. So
then there was no one there then, right?
You know, here's the thing. All right. We know that 3 pieces, we know this. This is what we know. The most impossible pieces of evidence to have been found at 6:30 in the morning by the Canton police was clear glass in snow, right? I gotta tell you, that's pretty good. And they found 6 little droplets of blood. Now, after that, that's 2 inches of snow. They found clear glass, almost an impossibility, all right? Now, I don't know, 18 inches now snows, and they find this, another piece of red plastic, and another piece of clear plastic, okay? Like I said, I'll say it again. It's been a hoax. It's been a hoax since day one. We're going to find out exactly why it was so important for people to risk their careers and risk their freedom to frame Karen Reed. Why was it so important? Who was being protected, and for what reason?
That's a big.
Right, I'm going to stop it there because I'm watching this man here. We don't have to wait anymore. We got the man, we got the myth, we got the legend. He's backstage with me, and I can't stop him anymore. He's bashing to get on here. If you got questions, put them in chat. Give this guy a massive round of applause. Here he is, Sean. How are we, mate? How are you?
Dylan, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for having me on, Dylan.
Mate, absolute pleasure. I'd thank you to you, and again, shout out to Mike as well for allowing me to use this video, because I said it at the start, and I've said it to people as well. I don't believe in stealing people's content. I don't believe in any of that. I believe in, if you find something that you resonate with, or you think you can use for your own benefit, ask the people, reach out to them, see if you can do it. What you just said there in about 20 odd minutes, perfection. You just said what I was thinking. So thank you, my friend, for doing that.
You know, Dylan, it's amazing. I've lived this case since basically April. Hearing what I just said a couple of nights ago, again, it actually amazes me. It amazes me that these guys had the audacity, seriously, the audacity to run this by us, to set her up the way they did. Listen, I'm no magician, all right? I'm an old school type of guy. I'm a ground nose type of guy. I grind the streets. This was simple, and I just had to use Proctor's own words. You know, and here's the other thing I did discover. I'm not sure if it was a day or 2 days later. He clearly did not know that this video that I analyzed for weeks with my partner D existed. Had he known that, I don't know what he's going to do, because the problem is the damage was done. He couldn't turn back. He could not turn back from this. 3 women said it was a crack. Okay. Trust me, it's not a crack.
Well, I'm going to jump in here for a second, right? No one should listen to me. We want to hear more from you, right? But I've got a couple of questions for you based on your video and everything you've done, right?
Whatever you want there, Dylan.
Fine. Because 95% of everything you said, I totally agree with. Bang on the money. Now, I've watched the video. Not before I watched this. I don't see a bang, right? I don't see a bang, right? But for me, that has never bothered me one bit, right? I've never seen a bang, right? Never bothered me one bit, because in my mind, she obviously hits the car. She obviously hits it. You know, there's no common sense tells you he hits. Now, obviously, when you zoom in, like you've done there, you can see the wheel moving, which is great work. Do you know what I mean? I hadn't seen that before. But even without that, in my mind, I could be wrong here, even without that, that was the end of the case anyway, because you could see how close it was and how she just stopped. She obviously broke it. Now, there's a crack there, fine, whatever. She drives away. It's fully intact. Case over. What are we doing? That's it. As soon as I saw that, I was like, done. And I tried to articulate that twice on my streams, right? And I failed. I completely failed to articulate that to people. It's there. She could never have done it. Case closed. Thank you very much. But people didn't believe me. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't think it matters that there was a video about, because I know Coffin Dapper says it didn't hit, you can't see the hit. Fine, okay, Jen, give you that, whatever, Jen. It doesn't fucking matter, Jen, because it doesn't matter. It's still intact. It's still intact. It doesn't matter whatsoever. It's a crack or whatever. It's still intact. That's my point of it. I'm not sure if you think that is still relevant, or do you think that crack plays a significant role still?
Dylan, you're absolutely correct. Listen, it plays a very significant role. Okay. Listen, I know for sure what they tried to do. Listen, their investigation is flawed. Okay. It's a flawed investigation. What they did was, and it's very obvious, because you can tell by the reports. Okay. If you remember, in the initial stages, from about when John left the scene, the working theory was a little 90-pound Karen smashed John, beat him up to a pulp, and left him and just left him there. Okay, that was the working theory that we know of, because at 10:41, the Sergeant Buchanan is still telling the medical staff at Good Sam, the Good Samaritan Hospital, that we're working this case as a domestic assault. Okay, fine. Well, the problem is the evil genius, right, says that's bullshit. No one's going to believe that. No one's going to believe that bullshit. Okay. Karen could never beat up John. It didn't happen that way. Okay. So I will steal the quote from Alan Jackson. They had the friends and family meeting, because all good detectives keep everyone together, right, when they want to get their story straight. Okay. God forbid if they separated the people and try to get the story independently. This is the problem. The thing is, Dylan, they write it in their reports. They congregate. Listen, all they had to do was go in the house, say, Brian, listen, we have to eliminate you. You know how it goes, Brian. You've been a cop for X amount of years. This is our job. You're a good guy. We love you. All that, whatever the happy horse shit they want to say. The problem is, by not doing so, they put the spotlight right on Brian, right? It's almost like, Dylan, that they just wanted to stay so far away from 34 Fairview, okay? All right, so they go to Jen McCabe's house, all right? Why didn't they go to the Canton Police Department? Right up the street, all right? They literally had to pass the Canton Police Department to get to her house. This is crazy stuff. But anyways, I know that the theory went from domestic assault to a hit and run. Why? Because of the quotes they got together, and Jen goes, "Oh Jesus!" She showed us the crack of the taillight. Well, then the evil genius goes, "Well, that's it. All right, I think they really wanted. Okay, my theory is they did want this to be a horrific accident that the plow drivers somehow got a hold of John. That failed because no one called it in, right? Then the Canton cops are working this theory, and by the time they debrief or have some kind of meeting with the state police, they offer that because clearly Buchanan, it's in a report. Listen, I'm so confused. There's so many reports, but I know for sure that Buchanan said at 10:41, and he used the word the decedent. We are working this case of the decedent as a domestic assault and battery. Okay, and then it changed. The problem is they had no evidence. They wanted to pin it on her. She became public enemy number one for them. And that was that bad because they should have eliminated everyone. Good detectives, listen, we see it all the time on TV. I don't know over there in the United Kingdom, but everyone knows you always eliminate the suspects, all right? The spouse, the last person that saw the person, who had motive, right? Nobody had motive here, all right? Yeah. They had the motive, right? They wanted to make her fit in their little narrative. They were lacking one thing, the crucial evidence, right? And guess what? That car sat for hours in Canton. If I heard, right, if Jen McCabe said to me as a detective, well, we saw the light, it was cracked, I'd be down at One Meadows in a heartbeat to get that car because they had the authority to seize the car. It didn't matter. They could have seized it anyways in the domestic assault because she could have brought evidence into that car anyways. But no, getting back to what you said, yeah. You are completely right. And listen, I didn't write the report. I just used his words against the video. Okay. By virtue of my little, I guess, connection to the goose that laid the golden egg, this lady Natalie, after several weeks, I found the picture. After all this work I found the picture hidden in all her files. She gave me hundreds of documents. It's sitting right there. Okay. Now I have not come public with it. Listen, I spent 35 years on the table with the prosecutor. This is a unique position for me because I find myself on the other side defending a woman who I completely believe in, and she's accused of murdering a person in my profession that I was in for 35 years. It's a very delicate situation, but trust me. And I said that little circle in those little pictures we had, I guarantee if this case ever goes to trial and there's evidence in those little circles that I have for you guys, right, shows up in a bag, it's a duck. It's over with. It's a hoax. They planted evidence. It's case over.
It's interesting to hear this view because, as you say, you've always been on the other. Well, I say the other side. You've always been. You've got to prosecute. You've got to get all this evidence in. You've got that's the side you are using to your benefit and to the benefit of Karen by using your knowledge and everything, which is to basically showcase to us how it all works as well. Which I think is great for us because a lot of things that happen with these cases we don't know about how it works and things like that. So in a sense, you're using what they do or what you learn against them in some ways, which is fantastic to see that you're doing it for the greater good. You can put that to one side, which I think is quite. That's not easy to do because you've got a mind. You've done certain things a certain way all that time in your work to now be able to come out. As you say, it's probably hard for you to come out and say some of these things, but you're obviously about innocence and innocence over anything else, which I applaud you for.
Dylan, it was very hard, and I've said it many times before. I didn't want to believe it. I did not want to believe that any law enforcement, never mind the Canton Police Department, where my parents had a house for 53 years, I would never want to believe that anyone in that department was messed up in this. I worked with state troopers for 9 years up in Springfield, Mass. All right. Had a lot of respect for them. Hey, listen, there were things that happened. There were things that happened with DEA agents, but there were things that happened with the Mass State Police. The fiber of my being in 35 years was always to know there's good in all law enforcement. There's a few bad apples. They actually made my job easy. They made it easy for me to take the position I have. And listen, you know, the people, I have to change the name trolls. I don't want to use trolls anymore. We have to look at this as people are passionate. Okay, I'm passionate. You're passionate. All the people in the live chat, we're all passionate. They're passionate too. The problem with them, okay, and I feel bad for them because this is coming down shortly, okay? The problem for them, Dylan, is the fact that they were sold a bill of goods, okay? They were sold on a myth. They were sold the big lie, okay? Now listen, I go back and forth, back and forth. A lot of people say, Sean, why do you do this? Because I like to. I want to basically show them. If you have it, show me, okay? When I was off the airways dealing with my father's death, I watched them all because I was gone. I wasn't banging them, right? I watched them say, oh, we got this, we got that. You know what they have now? They got me. They're attacking me. But where's the evidence they were claiming they had for the 6-7 weeks I was gone? Did it disappear? You know what it is, Dylan? It's not there. They don't have it. They don't have it. And going back to me as a cop, well, hold on for a minute. There are lawyers on the other side, right? The Commonwealth. You don't think Assistant District Attorney Lally, he's a smart guy. I don't care what anyone says. He's a smart guy. You don't think he hasn't seen this for what it is? I swear to God, I said this, I believe, on when I first went on Aiden's show back in, I guess it was June. Yeah. I said, I think the guy has a gun to his head. I don't know why he would go down this road. I don't know why those troopers, I can't believe Telly, Buchanan, and Proctor, who I believe are good guys deep down, why would they risk their careers and their freedom? Someone's going to jail. I'm going to tell you right now, all right? They're going, forget about all the other stuff. I don't know what the FBI is going to come out with. I can only believe in David Yanetti's words. But I can tell you right now, if they had the case, if they had the evidence, they would never need to plant the taillight evidence if they had the case. They don't have the case, and someone's going to jail just on that alone. Forget about what the FBI is going to bring to the table on or before the 15th. That's going to be crucial. These next 9 days are going to be crucial. This is history right here coming down the road. History, Dylan.
I'm glad you said that. I want to touch upon, rewind slightly there and touch upon something, because I'm not sure how, like, I cover trials, I cover cases, especially those that I truly believe in. I don't cover all trials because some of them I'm just like, whatever, but, you know, this came out to me, and a couple of others I have covered, or I'm reviewing now. One is called Matt Moore, and he's from Ohio, and he was, essentially, he was arrested by the police. Basically, they made him the prime suspect and didn't let go of him. And he went to trial, got found innocent. And it comes out that the jury themselves, even the judge, was like, they should never have come to trial. Never. It was like, you know, the detective got promoted, won awards and everything. But even the judge said, jury, you did the right thing. They should never come to trial. That sickens me to see things like that. So that's why I'm so passionate about these things. This is why, you know, on the flip side of that, we got a case we just reviewed, we watched last year for Zachary Anderson. He's in Wisconsin, and the DA, generally, if you know all the evidence, the DA was very corrupt, and basically no body was ever found. That nothing ever linked Zachariah to the death or anything like that. It was impossible for him to do it. He's now in prison for the rest of his life. Purely down to a corrupt DA. So that's why I'm passionate about these things, you know. When Karen came up, I literally went to the documents and I started reading it before I even see your stuff, and it jumped out at me. What are we doing here? You know, why are we here? Why? Because some documents you read them, it's like there's some things here, you know, but I can't see anything. So when you look at the documents, we've spoken briefly about it. Is there anything anywhere that jumps out at you in this case? Because I've not read it all, Sean. I'm not going to lie and say I've read every single piece of paper, because there comes a point where I don't believe you need to, because it's like, how in the hell, in my mind, did she run him over 4 miles per hour, wherever it's alleged to be, hit 14 yards behind, and we see a 508, like you just described, just a little crack, and the crack came from the car. How is this even plausible? Is what I'm trying to get. Is it? But putting that to one side, say that is all legit. Say it's legit for a second. Is there anything else that you can see, the documents that you've seen, that can even lead this to go to trial at all? Anything at all?
Listen, I did read the documents, and to my surprise, as I would read documents and I go back, some of these documents changed. Right? If you weren't paying attention, all right, the charging documents were changing as the case was going. But I was able to copy the original charge. Listen, when you write a story, all right, you do it in sequential order. Okay, you start at the very beginning, and you come leading down every step, coming down. In these reports, they're crazy. They're one, you know, so we're on the 29th, okay? Next thing, they're on the 31st, all right? Then they go back to the 29th, then they go to the 30th. I think they just wanted to confuse the reader, okay? And I'll tell you, when I initially read these documents, I said to myself, and I didn't really know, I didn't see the picture of the arm yet, okay? I said, I think these guys want to tank the case. I think they want to tank it. I think they want the judge to throw the case out for whatever reason. I think that was the goal. When they knew they would get caught, I think they were hoping that David Yannetti and Alan Jackson would call for a dismissal. Well, they are. They're coming up the pike. But I thought they should have done it just on the reports themselves. All right. But, you know, everyone has their little thing. And when I would read the reports, okay, I'd say that, okay. But when I saw in court that day, when they held up the chalkboard there with his arm, I said, come on. And I remember being on Aiden's show. I said, and like you said today, Dylan, what are we doing? I got upset. What the hell are we doing talking about this? This is crazy. We're grown-ass adults. We're intelligent. All right. I've got the Warriors for Karen, right? They are passionate. They had this thing figured out. They didn't need me. They don't need you. They don't need anyone else. They know it. They got this thing figured out. And like I said, the arm was huge for me. Other things were huge, but this taillight, come on, it's over with. It really is. First of all, I can't see Morrissey or Lally allowing Yannetti and Jackson to go in and literally tear them apart. Somehow, I think in my heart, they're going to just say, done, we're done. They're going to wait for the FBI to come up. They know. Listen, I know they know. The FBI is going to come out with this TUI process. It's over with, but we'll see. Like I said, you cannot deny that taillight exercise you just played. You can't. And it was simple. His words against the true evidence. And we always just say this in DEA, you know, you might be able to doctor some. Video never lies. That video is, I don't know how I just don't know how they didn't do a thorough investigation. That video killed them. And they went down a road that they can't come back from. And I said it before, you can mess up the investigation, right? But I'm gonna be a little vulgar here, but don't fuck up the cover-up. You can't fuck up the cover because that's in your hands. You control the cover-up. They fucked it up, and I'm sorry to say this, but I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed there, Dylan. I am. I'm pissed. And that other person, the other person there, the FBI. I'm a DEA guy, by the way. The other FBI agent, she is going to have so much crow to eat. I don't know where she's coming from. Listen, she might be a great person. right? She's gone on this. She will never recover for the statement she's made. Just the bullshit thing she said about the crime scene. All right, the crime scene, the scene of the crime. She wanted to say it was there. Listen, the Canton Police Department, all right, there was no crime committed there at that time. We know there was a crime committed, but she's trying to say, well, that's the scene too. Come on. 28 years as an FBI agent. If that's what she has, I don't know what kind of agent was, but I guarantee you right now, she has an incredible bio. Like I said, I'll leave it there.
No, that's fine. I think you can. I think you can leave it there. Look, I'll say it for you. I think she's a piece of shit. I actually think she's dangerous, to be quite honest with you. I generally think she's absolutely dangerous for what she says. She's in a position where if she is ex-FBI, I don't really know if she's ex-FBI, to be quite honest with you. It's such a position of power that, in my opinion, she's abusing. Because she did made a remark. I'm not sure if you know the case of Brian Kohlberger, where she said in a tweet that the Brian Kohlberger can clean the car as much as he wants, any blood, DNA, everything, the FBI will find it. They will always find everything. Now, lo and behold, they did all the search. They found no DNA, no blood, nothing. She comes back with, well, he obviously cleaned it so well. Well, hang on. You said, first of all, that no matter how much he cleans, they'd always find something. Now, he must have cleaned this too well. Bullshit. Fuck off. Anyway, enough about Coffin Dapper. Shout out to Anne. She bought 5 coffees. Thank you, Anne. She says, New Year. Thank you for having Sean and covering the story. We need justice for Karen. Right on, Anne. Thank you very much for your kind generosity there. Now, I've got a couple of questions here I've caught. I'm not sure if you know David Cullinane, but I've done a couple of streams with him.
I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah?
Bill, I'll tell you a quick story. Listen, I'm down here in Florida. I spent most of my career in South America. Now, unbeknownst to me, Dave and I have been communicating through via Facebook or whatever, right? I never knew who Dave Cullinane was. So I asked Dave McGrath last night. I said, listen, do you know this guy, Dave Cullinane? Because I'm hearing about him. He said, yeah, Sean, he's the Gabasu guy. He's Jerry Callahan. I never realized. And this is what happens to me. People come out of everywhere, and I'm so focused. But a big shout out to Dave because I used to watch all that stuff. I know he was with Portnoy and all this stuff. Yeah. Who knew? I was talking to this guy, didn't know who he was. It's great. Now I know, Dave. I'm sorry, buddy. I know who you are now. Now you got my attention.
Let's not big him up too much. Like, we'll bring him back down, Dave. He's also an India. He's this. We'll get Kirk Minahan on him. So that's how I know Dave from Barstool and everything like that. He's come on my show a couple of times. I do like him. So I'm hoping, you said we'll do another stream. Hopefully we get Dave on, because there's a few things I want Dave wants to discuss as well. But he's got a question here, right? And this is an intriguing question. I do like this question. In your opinion, how do 15 plus people rationally keep a cover-up going for this long? Is it a fear of Brian Albert, do you think? And this is your opinion, not of you, just your, in any case, how do you rationally keep a cover-up going?
Okay, well, who says they kept their mouth shut? All right, so people. Okay. I keep saying this to everyone. All right, this investigation did not happen when Aidan Carney came out on April 18th. Okay, we do know, all right, that the FBI was heavily involved in this case, heavily, way back in the beginning. Now there's talk about it could be March of 2022, it could be August. My friend Kevin on the other channel says he thinks it's August. Turtle Boy thinks it's December. All right. We don't know, but I can guarantee you, all right, there is ways that us federal agents have the ability to talk to people, and they didn't have to go to Judge Canone to get the geofence data. Okay. The FBI knows exactly who was in that house. They'll listen real closely. They know exactly who's in that house. They got the comms, the communications. I mean, did you see with the state troopers that happened with this CDL investigation? Did you see the amount of texts these guys, how they were talking, guess what they have? The FBI has all those texts, every one of them. Trust me. So when you come, and I've done it many times, right? You want to come in slow. You don't want to scare these people, yeah, but you want to say to them, don't lie to us. And then they bring it up. Did you say this? Oh, by the way, were you here at this time? Because you said you left earlier. Most of these people are already on the record in a state grand jury. They wrote, I don't know if they raised their hand, but they have told a story before a grand jury. Now, I'm not sure how the state works. Maybe they didn't raise their hand, to swear them. But I know there's a record of the story they told. All right. It's not by accident that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston hauled in all those witnesses before their grand jury. Okay. And I'm just leaving it at that. So today, if that was Dave's question, my response is we don't know who spoke, but I'm under the impression that they have warm bodies that put this thing together with the single information, the technical information. And I guess, listen, this whole TUI process is about what they have that exculpates Karen Read. I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be pretty for that side. Okay, we're not going to get all the secrets, but we're going to get enough that caused a very astute lawyer, number one, and now on his way to become the U.S. attorney for the District of Massachusetts, to tell both those guys, Lally and Yannetti, in good this is crucial, in good conscience, I cannot allow this case to go to trial. And nobody refuted those words. So there's something that's caused him to believe can't go to trial. That means they got some that proves that Karen is innocent. That's the only conclusion you can walk away with. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, look, the title of this is, well, I don't remember where I put the title of this, that Karen Read is innocent, and this one key reason why. Obviously, that was before I knew you were coming on here and stuff like that. Anyway, but
I didn't know it was coming on either, buddy. If my mother, if my wife knows I'm doing this, she's gonna kill me. But anyways,
no. So it's very much a case of, I don't even know where I was going with it, but it doesn't matter anyway. I don't believe that this will go to trial. I know people say it will go to trial because people just don't want to admit they're wrong and stuff like that, and they'll chance it, whatever. But that's a dangerous game to play because this is a woman's life, and not just that. I think people, I think people forget. I get this a lot, right? I get people sometimes shaming me and saying, "Shame on you," for like, for instance, believing that Karen Read is innocent. Now, I believe everyone is innocent unless proven guilty. Until I do all my research, that's my standard. I've been called all sorts, doing, fuck off back to Wales, mind your own business, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's what it is. It is what it is. The most hurtful thing that Sarah said to me is about, you don't give a shit about victims. Now, there's nothing further from the truth, because just because I think someone is innocent and unless proven guilty doesn't mean that I hate the victims or anything. I want justice for those victims. I absolutely want them. So I feel for the John O'Keefe family. I generally do. They're out there listening to all these things. And I don't want them to be forgotten, because I think we can all say about Karen Read, we can all talk about all these things, but John O'Keefe family is probably suffering because they see all this happening. So for people to just play games and to spout stuff out, make lies, this is why I got with Jennifer Coffin, make lies about things. I think it's not where I want to be. The clickbait stuff on YouTube I hate it. Unless you've got proper evidence, and unless you know what you're discussing, and I keep quiet about stuff until I know stuff. It's boring, whatever, but it's what it should be. You've got an innocent woman here, whether you believe she's innocent or not, guilty or not after the trial, whatever, it doesn't matter. For now, Karen Read is innocent. We have got a family suffering, and the victims are suffering. So, in my mind, why is all this hate happening? Why are we all going after Karen Read all of a sudden, and Turtle Boy and all these things? Why are we making all these accusations happening and people getting away with it. What you say earlier on about these police, if corruption is found, then they deserve to be in jail. But people, for whatever reason, feel they are free to say or do whatever they want, and that's why I like doing these things with you, Sean, especially with someone like you, because you're about facts, I'm about facts. Call a spade, man. And we look at all sides. I'm sure you're the same as me. You want justice for the Keith family as much as I do. It's just, why are we here? And that's my question. So I'm aiming that at people. If you see things out there, try not to get involved in some of this bullshit. Listen to things. I've got a few people here that believe Karen's guilty. Please don't go. If there's a trial, go into the trial, believe that she's innocent. She deserves a fair trial, is all I would say on that. And that's a big belief for me. So just because this is why I'm saying, you can say stuff eloquently. I can't. I go around circles here. I'm trying to say, basically, just because we believe Karen is innocent does not mean we hate the Key family. Actually, it's the opposite. We want justice for the Key family, and we want justice for Karen Reid in a long-winded way, if that makes sense. Anyway.
I agree wholeheartedly with you, Dylan. By the way, don't sell yourself short. Okay, you're very eloquent. Listen, you got the accent, right? You got the language of the Queen. Come on.
Yeah.
Think about this, Dylan. All right. The O'Keefe family is never going to win. Their son is dead. Okay. Think how devastating it's going to be. Okay, when the truth comes out and they realized that somebody was lying to them the whole time. Think about that. Think about the two kids. Think about how devastating it's going to be when, listen, they're old enough now to get on these websites and all this stuff and get the news. And listen, I feel terrible. I know the O'Keefes are very smart. Okay, I know Paul O'Keefe is smart. I know Carl Dougal is smart. I begged them to watch this little, 25 minute, and tell me if they're okay with what I put out. If I begged Carl Dougal to talk to me. Listen, I, like yourself, I want all sides. I didn't want to be the Lone Ranger out here, okay? I wanted Carl. He's a detective. He was also at the house when that car was sitting there. Are you telling me if he saw the gaping hole that police officer or state trooper claims he saw 3 hours later, because Karen came back out of the hospital at, 1:15. She went back to the house where the car was at and collected her belongings. My understanding, as should be, the family was there with the kids, and I believe Carl Dougal, a Boston police detective. You don't think he checked the car out, right? You don't think if he saw what Proctor saw a mere 3 hours later, you don't think he would have made a phone call? Absolutely. So I'm asking Paul O'Keefe and Carl Dougal, because I know they're tight, right? Look at that video. Just look at this. Look at the pictures. Look at the pictures. Tell me the curved part. Where did the curved part come from, Paul? Carl, where did that curved part come? Where did it come from? Because it didn't come from Karen's car. I can tell you that. Because at 5:08, that curved part is sitting right in front of your face. And like I said, nobody can walk away. And listen, I don't want any credit for this. I took this on myself. My partner and I, we did measurements. There's a whole thing. And I'm sure Karen's team has this thing amplified. I know they do, okay? But I did it for myself, and my partner helped me. And I challenge anyone on this live chat to show me where I'm wrong. I want to be proven wrong. I want someone to prove me wrong. And as of yet, I put a bet out there, and no one took it. I said we could do brownies. I don't care. Any part of that round circle that I circle is in evidence, it's over with. It's over with. And Paul and Carl, I know you're listening. To all the other guys, Alex Arias, good guy. Rogue, good guy. Bray, I don't know if you're a girl or a guy. I don't care. Kate, Kevin, if you're hearing this, fine. Just tell me I'm wrong and show me where I'm wrong. That's what I want. I'll admit it, but I've already gone on record. I'm going to die on that hill, right? And I got 35 years that says I'm right. I want someone to tell me I'm wrong. And please do, because we are now 8.5 days away from the truth, if not sooner. And this time, let's come at me. Just come at me.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, hey, do you know what? The hardest thing you can do is like admit when you're wrong. And I have to admit I'm wrong a lot of times, you know. So if you're prepared to do it, like I'm prepared to always, like, if I'm wrong, like Grant Ellis, whatever, said to me, "You're wrong about something. Come back at me, whatever." I was like, "If I'm wrong, dude, I'm wrong. I put my hands up." So I like that. We're so similar. It's unbelievable. You know, it's refreshing. You know what I mean? It is genuinely. I want to touch upon a couple of other things. Let's go away from that bit. This is all we were supposed to discuss. But I want to get away from it, right? Because I'm conscious of your time as well, right?
Don't worry about it. I got plenty of time now. She's not here.
You go. Happy days. But I've got two more things I want to discuss with you. I just want to touch upon them, right? Because I would love to do another stream with you, right?
We will.
Yeah. On this third bit. So before I go into that bit, I want to show you this, right? Because this annoyed me today, and I only saw it today. Let me add the presentation on here. And I've done my own research, and I call bullshit on it. So the tweet came out from Grant Smith Ellis today, thinking, "I think this is likely to be the core of it all, right? Alleged murderer Karen Reid went back to 34 Fairview House twice that night. The first time alone, after Officer John O'Keefe was dead, and the second time with her witness. All the world's a stage." I bring this up because, again, I put my hands up if I'm wrong, but I don't see in any document where, on the affidavit or anything, where it states that she went back to that house. And this is where I get mad. This is why people don't understand my accent, because when I get rage or get excited, I lose control of my voice. But this, I was appalled by. He made tweets last night that I was appalled by. But this is something that I am appalled by, because in his bio, he's a journalist. And a lot of people believe journalists the same way that a lot of people believe law enforcement, FBI, and stuff like that. So for me, with no basis that I've read, and again, if I'm wrong, I'll put my hands up. There is nothing stating that I've read to say that she made it over to 34 Fairview Road from 508. Am I wrong here, or do you know any of an example where she went back to that house or not? Or, you know, I'm putting you on the spot here maybe, but I read the affidavit, and yes, she did go somewhere, but there's nowhere that she said that she went to 34 Fairview Road. Yeah, so I think it's dangerous. What's your thoughts?
She didn't go anywhere. They got to go in the house at 12:41. Okay. She got up at 4:53 or sometime around that. I don't know, 4:30. She never left that house. All right. There's a video out there that some knucklehead is trying to say that use her words. Listen, they edited out certain things to make this video. She never left. All right. Until it was time to go see Jen and Kerry. What she did do was, and it's documented, right? She came down Pleasant Street and made a left, and she went back. This is when she leaves after that video. There is absolutely no evidence, and this is the crux of my argument with the other side. They're saying, "Oh, we got her. We got her checking her taillight." All right, show me. They don't have it. They don't have it. "Oh, we got her going back at 2 o'clock in the morning doing." No, they don't have it. All right. What is Grant? Seriously, Dylan, let's put it right on the table. What else does Grant have? That's it. That's all he has. He has some cockeyed version in his mind that says, and he's being sold a bag of goods too. They all are. Okay. She didn't leave the house in time until she made arrangements to meet with Jen. And the only thing she did was to go back to the stupid waterfall, right? Which is, you go down Pleasant, you make a left on, I don't know, Sherman, something, go on to Washington Street. She made the left. They know that. All right. They don't have her at 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever the hell time they want to say. They don't have that. And if they do, have them tell me, have them show me, right? Have them show me, oh, we have her leaving at 12:30 after she hit John and she's checking the tail light. Go ahead, show me. I want to see. All right. Because if they had that, let's face it, if they had that, why would they need to plant evidence? This is the whole thing, Dylan. If you had all this great evidence, why plant evidence? You know, that's the question. No, they don't have it. They don't have it, Dylan. They don't have it.
No, I'm glad you said that. I only saw it this morning. So someone said Maureen says Sean brings receipts. So do I. I don't condemn any of these. Like, I just hate all this. I've just seen this now. I've just seen this, right? I literally just see this second. So on Twitter, hang on, let me present it. Share screen. Now, this coffin that first shared this, right? I'm not going to play it, it's a video, but the heading is, I can't say much to truth. Like, MA v. Karen Reid, search warrant. A check of these records reveal 189 phone calls between them. I'll go out here, right? And Glenn, correct me if I'm wrong, right? About these phone calls between all this, right? In my opinion, in all this, right? Who gives a fuck? What does this got to do with Karen Reid being guilty or innocent? I don't. Tell me, educate me, please. Chat, show, educate. Who cares if they spoke to each other 189 times? It does it matter in terms of Karen, and stuff like that. Does it generally matter? And that's a genuine question. I don't think it matters, but maybe I'm wrong.
It doesn't matter at all. Listen, all right. Turtle Boy himself came on his show and said, "Yeah, of course I had a source. He gave the whole thing up. Said he had Natalie. Natalie was brought into the scene by Jen Altman, and yes, he gave it up. He gave the whole thing up. All right. He didn't do all this stuff. Of course, it came from Karen to Natalie to Aiden. Okay, he fronted this. Okay, he fronted everything. Right. He's a journalist. You don't think O.J. Simpson was talking to journalists back then? You don't think his team was talking to journalists? Listen, there was no gag order. Okay, none. She could talk to anyone she wanted to. That judge, listen. I mean, I'm sure Lally and company probably listen when the colored photos, all right, of the autopsy was sent out. That was supposed to be like, oh my God, that shouldn't have gone out. All right, well, Lally knows that. He never called a foul, I don't think, right? And that he could have asked to have a gag order. I was in a trial up in Springfield with Judge Friedman, the actual judge for the president, the high judge for the district, put a gag order on 22 defense attorneys. Couldn't say a word. Now that's a different story, okay? But in this case, there was no gag order. Peter Ellican, I don't know his name. He's an attorney. He said it very eloquently. She has the right she did not commit any crimes. I don't care if it's 1,089 calls. She could call anyone she wanted, all right? And furthermore, Aiden was the only person that was putting this story out. So listen, that little headline means nothing. No. Again, it's a distraction. The whole thing is a distraction because what do they got, Dylan? All right, they got some idiot DEA guy. I've been accused of being delusional, detached from reality, unhinged. All right. Well, guess what? All right. I may be all of that, but they planted the evidence, and I don't care what anyone says. And that guy who made those comments, he knows it, but he can't come out because the people that are supporting him, right, will crucify him. When this is over, right, he will be exposed. And it's a shame because we were friends. As friends can be on this internet stuff. We talked every day. He said it. Somehow he got offended by Aiden Carney. I get it. All the Turtle Rioters attacked him. I get it. I was sitting in the chair when this whole thing blew up. Next thing, I'm delusional. I'm unhinged. I'm a crazy guy. Okay, fine. I'm crazy. Well, guess what? I told him, I said, mark my words, put the date down. She's never going to trial, right? She's going to be completely exonerated. This is before I even did the taillight thing. She will be completely exonerated, and there will be a massive roundup of the people who are responsible. And I told them that probably July. I stand by that. And I stand by the planting of the evidence. So let's see who's delusional. That's all I got to say.
No,
I'm not
fine.
a bartender. I'm not a bartender. Trust me on that. I used to love to make drinks, but I'm not a bartender. I have 35 years experience. I know what I'm talking about.
And that's why you're on here. I don't have just anybody on here spouting stuff. So I believe in what you have to say. I'll go on to the next bit here. All right. Before I do, Maureen. Maureen bought 3 coffees for me. Thank you. Love your show, Dylan. Gracias. Thank you, Maureen. Shout out to you. Shout out to this young man, Mike. Thank you to the Young Jerks. Without the Young Jerks, I would not be here. Obviously, well, and Erin Hack as well. Erin Hack's a massive fan of yours. She's one of my followers. She's one of my members, Sean. So I'll give her a special shout out because actually she loves you. She loves everything that you say, and she believes in everything that you put out there. So shout out to Erin.
I have met. I have been contacted and have communicated. And listen, to the people, I try to answer everything, but I have met some great, I call them, well, they're patriots, but they're warriors for Karen. They're incredible. They got this thing figured out. And it's this is going to be history, Dylan. You're part of history. All right. This case will be the biggest case. You talk about OJ, you could talk about Murdoch. Those are like traffic ticket cases compared to this. This is going to be the biggest scandal, the biggest cover up, the biggest frame job that anyone has ever seen. And unfortunately, right, they tortured her for 2 years. It's now over 2 years. Okay. They tortured her. All right. They had a perp walker on purpose. You didn't have to do that. She was going nowhere. And guess what? They're pinging her cell phone before Christmas, trying to jam her up before Christmas, right? This other guy said, someone leaked it to her. Well, guess what? Who the hell would leak from that side, right? No one knew what they were doing unless there's someone in the DA's office giving up information. If there's someone in the DA's office giving up information, maybe they're a source too for the FBI. Who knows? But this other guy, she had to be told that they're on her trail. So 3 times they did search warrants to jam her up. Okay, come on, we know what this is all about. They're going down as hard as they can, and they're going to take as much hide out before. Listen, we're 8.5 days away. All right, they know this. So I hope they don't make the mistake that I feel they're going to make, because it will completely backfire. The only thing, the problem is for me is when you write a 31-page affidavit, you basically basically laid out a case for conspiracy. You don't need that. You want to be brief as possible. You don't want to give up your cards. You had enough. Here's the other thing. They didn't need her phones for anything. They had Natalie for 4 months. 4 months. They knew Aiden's phones. They didn't have her phones. They had Aiden's phones to figure out the thousands of calls they made. Who gives a shit, right? It's a game. They're playing a deadly game on this, and they're going to get spanked. I can tell you this. They're going to get spanked.
And I agree with you. Shout out as well to David Owen, Shemai Delan. Hey, Shuli David. Where are you from in Wales? I'm from West Wales, not far from Aberystwyth. You're a volleyball living in England. So shout out to David.
How far from where Tom Jones grew up?
So I used to go to university in the town that Tom Jones was born. He was born in Treforest in Pontypridd, and that's why I went to university. Now, for me now to drive there is about 1 hour and 40 minutes to get there. But yeah, the Otley, everywhere where he sang, been there numerous times in my college years.
Great guy.
Yeah, lovely.
Great guy.
Yeah, great guy. Put us on the map. And a shout out here, Sean said something. No, so Young Judge said, doing good. Watching some dogs right now. Broadcastle Mike is broadcasting Counter Select board meeting tonight at 6 p.m. as well. Shout out to you as well. And allow us to do all these things. Or see Sean play some guitar. Right. I've got this for you, right? I'll put this back up to stage. Now, we don't need to go into this deeply, right? Because this is something that I've only started looking into. And this was a side, this was a side of things that I don't have enough information or evidence here. So I'll put it on record, say I'm spitballing here. I'm speculating, shall we say here, because I've not done enough research. But I've got some of these things, right? So the supplementary narrative, right? So in here, it states that they said he wasn't breathing. They were performing CPR on O'Keefe. And Otis Reed, the victim's girlfriend, had blood on her face from doing mouth to mouth. O'Keefe was bleeding from his face. I went over to the victim and felt his skin, and it was cold to the touch. Fine, that's one example. So I'll go through a couple of examples here, right? Here they were saying that another witness, whichever one it was, Miss Roberts, I believe, is saying that Miss Reed was doing CPR. Miss Roberts stated that she observed the victim is lying on his back and with his arms by his side. She noticed that his right eye was swollen shut and there was blood coming up from his nose and mouth. When the paramedics arrived and lifted the victim's body to the stretcher, Miss Roberts observed the grass underneath the victim's back, not covered in snow as the remainder of the area was. Fine. Another one. This is the medical examiner says, doctor advised the troopers that she observed several abrasions on the victim's right forearm, 2 swollen black eyes, a small cut above the right eye, a cut to the left side of the nose, whatever, all these damages. She also goes on to say that multiple skull fractures that resulted in bleeding of the brain. She advised the troopers that the victim's pancreas was a dark red colour, indicating hypothermia was a contributing factor to his death. She opined from her examination that significant blunt force trauma injuries occurred prior to Mr. O'Keefe becoming hypothermic. Right. We go on to this, right? This is my question. I'm not a doctor. I don't know all these things. And also, I'm not as knowledgeable as you, right? So I looked up hypothermia, right? And you're like, so from in my mind, right, the timeline is Karen is accused of reversing into John O'Keefe at approximately 12:30 in the evening, approximately. You know, it's probably a little bit later than that, but say approximately. They're then saying 5 and a bit hours later, he's still there. Oh, hang on. Oh, here comes trouble. Right, just for everyone to know, beware. We got a very, very intelligent person here called Sean, and we got an idiot called Dave Cullenhane. He's here.
There's nothing intelligent about me, but let me just say this, Dylan. If anybody's giving me compliments and you interrupt them again, I will fly to wherever the fuck you are and I'll beat the shit out of you. So I'm watching, Sean, nice to meet you in person here.
Hey, Dave. Great.
So I'm watching, and it's funny because Dylan and I have talked about this a ton, right? And I'm just kind of realizing the last couple of days watching you, it all comes down to that taillight, and that's what you've been preaching. And it's like we've literally been wasting a year of time. You know, like that's what we should have been dialed in on. And we all know that the investigation was just an absolute mockery. I told you we investigated the Birchmore case. That case was a mockery. Officers involved. I'm a pro-police guy, so it's a shame that you hate saying that, but it is what it is. There's a reason why they didn't do anything in their power to find video footage to prove that taillight was intact or not intact. They just left it to be. You know what I mean? I think I messaged you this. Like, she drove from Canton, Massachusetts to Dighton the day after on Saturday, right? That's a 45-minute drive.
The same day. She gets out of the hospital at 1:15.
Right. The next morning.
I mean,
right?
The day they find the body, same day, that car sat in that garage, right? In Canton, right? Okay, so let's go with the first theory. Let's say she did. That's the theory. She beat him up, right? Well, guess what? It happened outside the car, right? So any good cop would say, well, Jesus Christ, there's evidence. She could have brought evidence into the car. Maybe there's glass in there. Maybe we can.
But that's why listening to you lately, right? Like when
Yeah.
you just dial in on the taillight,
Right.
you start to say like, yes, we can treat this like it's the Real Housewives of New York and say she was blackout drunk, and we can litigate left and right, and we'll go in circles with each other. We'll get nowhere. But that video footage of the taillight and the lack of ability that they have shown in proving that it was intact or not intact is remarkable. And I don't want to get in a pissing match. What I like about you is you're complimenting all angles of this in terms of like the people online and the craziness that's transpired. Yeah. Kevin's a great guy. I don't really think I've heard Kevin come to give an answer on how you've detailed this taillight situation. Like if you just, I keep saying, if you just focus in on the taillight, that to me is the end all be all now. Like that's why I keep saying like, I need this to get to court, or if it doesn't get to a courtroom, just prove to me about the taillight. I'll move on. I don't need to know anything else. There's nothing else.
David, Kevin knows.
Yeah.
Kevin and I was on one of his lives, and we specifically, the 14-second clip, someone did it. They clipped it, they put it out. So I grabbed it. Right. It's kind of it's awkward because they show only the car and it's freeze frame. But the problem is, now I go back, I remember, right? Kevin has the photo because you know why? If you listen to that 14 seconds, he's describing the picture. And what he says, there's just a little piece of red left.
Yep.
That's true. Now, I dare anyone, I implore them to look at all the sides, all right? And tell me if there's just a little piece of red, which means that the rest of the stuff is gone, okay? It's gone. He's lying, okay? He got offended because I sat in the chair when Turtle Boy attacked him and everyone else attacked him. He got offended. And what happens when you're offended and they find out you're weak? It's like sharks. You see someone bleeding. They come in and attack. They found his vulnerability. They prepped him up and they're just using him. But guess what? He can't come out. He cannot come out and admit the same words he used, David, the same words he used on that 14-second clip. I suggest everyone go back to that whole live. We're talking about it, right? Yeah. I don't have the time to do because, so I don't need to.
Yeah.
Right? He's lying, okay? His partner knows he's lying because he saw it, right? Everyone knows he's lying because guess what? The other side has the Natalie files and the picture is in the Natalie files. They know it. Yeah. They only want to give out the little sticker, the picture of the sticker. Well, that's the picture. And there's a sticker on it. They got it. What are they going to do? Give themselves up? Of course they're not.
Yeah. Right? That's why I think it's just effective for everybody if you just dial in on this one aspect of the case, which is the tail case. That's the case. That's the case, right? And
I told Mike the Jerks. I told Mike Crawford, this is, I don't care what anyone says. If you had the evidence, why'd you have to plan evidence, right?
Right.
The truth of the matter is, Dave, this is an age-old story, right? Back in the 60s and 70s with cops, listen, we heard about it in the Warren, not the Warren Commission, all the commissions that happened in New York. Throw down knives, throw down guns, and make the shootings justifiable. Listen, these guys, they fucked up. They really did. They had control of the cover-up. You know what they didn't know? That there was a video that basically shows that light's intact. What's Jen Coffindaffer going to say when it comes out? I hope that Vinnie Politan somehow.
But see, that's the difference. That's why you won me over lately versus and Dylan. We've made fun of Coffindaffer because it's kind of easy to do. But you're giving your expertise on one specific angle, and you're dialed. I put it in the comments, like you are dialed in on that taillight.
Laser.
If you're Coffindaffer and you're analyzing, she's no different than me. She's no different than what Dylan was. Anybody else in the chat, if you want to sit here and analyze blood alcohol level of this, and did you text Aiden how many times or how many phone calls, of course you can just start going, back and forth. But it's the people like you, I think, that are just dialing in on that one aspect, which is this is physical evidence, and you need to prove to me that physical evidence was damaged or not damaged. They had an ability to do so. Like I keep going back to that drive. That drive from Canton to Dighton is 45 minutes. How many fucking cameras did they pass?
There you go.
Nobody, like they didn't canvass any, they didn't knock on any doors, they didn't go to federal building security cameras to go look at it. They did nothing. And, you know, to your point, these guys aren't stupid. I know it's easy. Like we all think, because in the back of our mind, we think this could be a cover up. We want to just shit all over Proctor. We want to shit all over Yuri or whatever his last name is. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. They didn't do things for a reason. Right. And that's what it looks. Yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to jump in and say that. So
hey, Dave, that's great. I'm glad now. I'm glad I know who you are. I'm like,
no, you don't need to. You don't need to.
I'm embarrassed, brother.
Yeah,
You're telling me
no,
about 4 years. I said, who's this guy? He's talking about 4 years. He's talking about.
So Dylan, here's what I want though, Dylan. You need to delete our 2 other previous conversations where we just chatted like schoolgirls about absolute nonsense. So,
I know. But in my defense, and I will give myself credit here, pat on the back. I always said all along that screen, the taillight was always in one piece. I've always said that, even though everyone thinks I was mad. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But you're 100% right. I mean, how the fuck did you and me make some streams about this? What a bunch of idiots.
Well, I mean, that's why I think so many people got involved, right? Like it's the defense's job to muddy the waters in this case. And however that played out, you know, to be completely transparent, it does look like it played out. They gave a lot of information to Aiden. Aiden's putting it out there. He's got stories he wants to tell. He's got to keep this story going and things like that. It's worthwhile to know who the players were that were in the house. It's worthwhile to know all these different angles of the story. But I think maybe it's just like in the last 72 hours since you kind of went on these shows, Sean, it just kind of like sparked me of just saying like, how much fucking time did I waste? You know what I mean? Like how much time do we waste? When that security footage came, I don't think a reasonable person can look at that. And it's not 4K video from her driveway. No. It's not an HD pictures or anything like that. But I think a reasonable person can say it doesn't look like that taillight is shattered in pieces. I think a reasonable person could say that, even if it's not the perfect video or the perfect pictures.
I can guarantee you right now, 37 pieces are not missing.
Right.
That's the arrogance. That's the arrogance that they pulled off to try to convince people that they had it. Now, there's 5 undocumented searches. It's a bunch of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
They smashed it. They controlled that evidence. He never went back down there. Of course he didn't.
Yeah.
Listen,
why play along? Like, in your opinion, and I know you've kind of said this, like, why are you playing along with this? If you're Proctor or if you're anybody, like when you realize that this is what's going on, why are you playing along?
This is my whole thing. I said this from the beginning. All right. Who has the black book? Who had enough juice, enough power to make? Listen, I want to believe Tully and Proctor and Buchanan and the whole gang. We're good cops. Listen, you look at the Walsh case. This kid's a superstar. All the reports detailed, all his actions, geofence, Google searches. Come on. And what happens? He forgets how to investigate. No, someone had juice. Someone had the phone call was made.
Well, it could be the conflict. It could be the first thing we all got on, which was the conflict of interest in Proctor, which I'm still not over.
Yeah, but would he risk his career and his freedom? No, somebody had to have enough juice. Listen, you're going to find out between the hours of 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock, calls were made. The FBI has it. I know they do. All right. I did this for 35 years. I left DEA in 2011. The equipment they have now, you snap your fingers, you're on a phone. You snap your fingers, you get the text. They have it, right? And they had it all along before Aiden ever started. Because you know why? Because they were dishing out subpoenas.
Right.
They didn't hide the fact that they were shitting on Morrissey's case. Think about it. They're subpoenaing his witnesses. They're subpoenaing overtly, handing out paper all over the place. Reddington gives up the whole thing on Jen McCabe.
What started that, in your opinion? Like, what started the feds?
Well, I said this, and I don't know, but what I theorized, something was going on prior to John getting killed. Something. Listen, they talk about Rollins. They talk about this. All I know is this: Josh Levy, right, is no fool, right? Even if he thought Rollins overstepped her bounds, he would have pulled this case in a heartbeat. Something is in that investigation that made him say,
The FBI has the goods. And listen, we're going to find out. We're
Right.
not going to find out all the secrets because they got to hold back something. We're going to find out. And like I said, I mean, I've been in the game too long, right? I'm a nobody in this thing. I just have brains. I have common sense. These guys lost it. They did.
Yep.
I hate to say it.
Yep.
I feel
I remember
bad.
when we were doing the that's why the conflict of interest thing, Dylan, sticks with me a little bit too, like outside of the taillight, is because when we were doing Birchmore, I went to the office, I spoke to Morrissey and I spoke to Tully both at the same time. And in our case, the investigator working it, this is out of Stoughton, the investigator lived and grew up in Stoughton. He knew the players that were being investigated. And I said to him, is this not a conflict of interest? And Michael Morrissey, with Tully standing next to him, said that could be considered a good thing that they know these players. And to me, it's like, yes, I guess it could be considered a good thing that he could know that these guys could be up to something like that. But the reality is it's a major conflict and somebody else should have been investigating it. So, to me, I almost wonder if that's what triggered them I don't know.
It's very possible. I'll tell you one thing. When I was a crime scene investigator, we did things on suicide, right? Women, when they commit suicide, I mean, not 100%. They're very particular. They know they're going to kill themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to be gory. They know. All right. They're not going to take a gun because they want to be found. It's a little bit of vanity. Guys will jump off a bridge. They'll jump off a building. They don't care what they look like. Women, generally speaking, right? I hate to say this. When they get found, they want to be found in a nice way. All right. Sometimes they use pills. I can tell you right now, a young girl that never exhibited any type of signs of depression. She was actually happy to, and here's the other, happy to have.
Are you talking about Birchmore?
Yes, I'm talking about.
Figured, but
happy.
I would
say
have
that baby.
She's happy to have that baby, but I don't think we can't rule out that she didn't have mental health problems and suicidal thoughts and things like that. Just to be fair.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And in full disclosure, I really don't know much about it. I've talked to some of the people that are promoting this march for poor Sandra.
Yep.
But what I feel pretty good about is no woman would knowingly know she's pregnant and take that life. I mean, she might want to do her own self. You're not going to do it by hanging.
Well, their reasoning is that he goes to her apartment to break it off, say it's over for the last time, and she does it immediately. That's his, literally, he walks out the door and she commits suicide, which is just, it's irrational. Like, it's just
listen, that phone never moved, right? And I'll tell you right now, when you see suicides are awful. I found a guy one time hanging from the rafters, right? It was end of shift. I got the call. He was a reporter for the Washington Post. Listen, when you're gasping for air, suicides are horrible. I don't care what anyone says. Hanging's the worst. Drowning's bad, but hanging's the worst. And I'm telling you, that one stinks.
Yep.
And I
messaged you last night. Selfishly, I am hoping that something does. I've said this to you, Dylan, as well. I have a conflict of interest myself. Selfishly, I am hoping that this is a cover-up and that the DA's office is involved, even though it's crazy because it's 10 minutes down the road. I live in this area. But I'm hoping because I think that then maybe Sandra will start to get some answers as well.
I hope so. I really do.
It stinks just as much as this one. So
I'll let you guys
go.
And I do agree with you, Dave. I think there's a possibility, a very possibility, that the feds might have been involved in this. All right. I don't know what the nexus would be. Listen, I think it was always a public corruption matter.
Yep.
I don't know, but like I said, they were onto something, and they've got evidence. There's no doubt. They have it. They have the evidence. So.
Right.
Hey, great to meet you, Dave.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks for letting me jump on, Dylan.
Cool.
We'll be talking.
Thanks, mate. No worries.
See ya.
We'll do the stream with Dave on as well. So he's an idiot, but he's knowledgeable though. He's got something to say. No, we will do one with Dave. I like Dave a lot. But he's right. Me and him did a couple of streams where we just tuned the shit, which is great. It was great, but put it into this aspect, like I basically did this stream for the right reasons and the tailgate. Now we're evolving because you're on here, so we're evolving. It's fantastic to see.
I think it's great. Listen, I said today, I said to a friend of mine, Ann, I said, can you believe this? And it was kind of funny. And I said to her, I said, you know, it's funny. I was flipping through and I found your channel. I said, I'm laying in bed and I'm saying, I'm watching a guy in Wales talking about me in my tweets. And I said, this is like amazing. I'm a nobody, right? I feel I'm passionate, right? And my only concern was when I agreed to do this, that I hope I understand you, because when I was in the jungles of Peru, there was a bar that was owned by an Irish-born Brit, okay? And my right hand of God, they talk about Cockney accents, right?
Yeah,
I would sit there, all right, I would sit there, my right hand of God. I didn't know what the hell he was saying in English. And I said to him, and he couldn't speak Spanish to say this. I said, Phil, his name was Phil, great guy. Phil, please speak Spanish. I'll understand you better. I didn't understand one word he would say in English, but I understand you perfectly, Dylan.
Brilliant. And no joke, there are a lot of people do watch me in replay, crew, for subtitles.
Hey.
So not everyone's cup of tea, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, that's great. Come on, give me some questions. I'm an open book.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
This is what I want to talk about briefly. Sure. I don't need to go into weeds on this because, like, I truly believe the tail lies in that. But what's I wanted to put this on your radar if you didn't have any information on it, because I wanted to cover this with you again, right? So for me, we just read some of those things that the medical examiner said, the police said. Now, for me, what I'm finding hard is one. I have no basis to this. I'm speculating, guys. I don't know what the fuck I'm on about. But one, I believe that if you still, if you're dead, you still don't have blood coming out of your nose readily or your mouth and stuff like that. So for me, that was one clue going, well, so he's still alive at that point. Two, if he's still alive at that point, then how the fuck does he got frostbite and hypothermia then? Because he's been out there for over 5 hours. So in that condition, in that weather, in my small mind, it's impossible that he would have been there. Again, speculating, but I find it quite impossible that he was there for 5 hours in that condition and still be alive with blood coming out. Right. Now, I've not done any research. I'm just saying that out loud, speculating. I'm putting it out there. I need to do more research. But what's your thoughts?
Hey, I'm really glad you brought this up because it was yesterday. All right, I get great information. I got to tell you, and there's great people out there. And I believe this was a woman. Listen, I can't tell with these names, right? And I understand. You know what she said? I think it was a woman. She says, "Sean, think about this." And I'll make an analogy. Remember last week? It was 2 weeks ago. Buffalo, or they were in Green Bay. These guys, right, in the frigid temperatures, they had water icicles on their beards and all that stuff, right? It's freezing. You know what turns this whole theory and puts it out the pasture? Had John been out there from their theory 12:30 in the evening till 6:04 in the morning, that blood would have crystallized, right? Oh, it would have crystallized. And when Karen is giving him CPR, what do they say? She's got blood on her mouth, which means there was a transfer. There was no crystallization. There was blood on his face that did not freeze. Okay. And here's the other thing, Dylan, right? Had John been hit with that gash in the back of the head, another good friend of mine, two friends, all right? Two friends. They said the amount of blood that should have been on that scene, all right, should have been dramatic. Liters of blood because of that gash. And I'll tell you, when they lifted it up, there should have been a pooling of blood, right? Remember this. They're saying 6 hours, 5.5 hours, 5:45, 12 to 15 degrees, right? That's freezing temperatures, right? That blood would not go into the ground. The ground was already frozen, all right? It's not there. And the crime scene photos, come on. There's nothing there. Those guys, if those photos is what they represent to be crime photos, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. They have the body of John that melted the snow away, which means that he was still alive. and his body warmed and melted the snow. That's it. So think about it. The blood's crystallized. So it's freezing. All right, it's freezing. Oh, there's another thing. This lady, I can't clip it. She pulled in maybe two nights ago. Right, no snow on the ground. She pulls into the driveway of 34. Those poor people that bought that house, they must be crazy. But this lady, right, she's great. Pulls into the driveway. I think it's on Twitter. She pulls into the driveway, all right, and then she says, "Okay, I'm going to back up. I'm going to make believe I'm one of the party goers leaving Fairview that night." She backs out. She turns like she's going south down Fairview towards Chapman. And I'll tell you right now, it's something that it escaped my brains, right? As she pulls out, those taillights veer across where John was found, lights up the whole place, and there's no snow. So there is no way, if John was there, that those people would not have seen John. It's impossible. I'll try to get you. I'll send it to you on the back channel, Dylan. This little clip is amazing. Listen, it's all going to come out. It's a duck. We know it's a duck. Let's call it.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are the people. I feel bad for them because they believe what they want to believe. Like the Bengal girl, Patty Bengals. I don't know if your name is Patty. Julie Carpenter. Listen, I feel bad for you people. I really do. I do. I feel bad, right? But the bottom line is, you guys are going to be disappointed. It's over with. I'm telling you. I feel bad, but and Karen McCormick, I feel bad for you too. You want to believe me? You were a believer. You were a believer, and then you got offended. So, like I said, 8.5 days. It's coming out.
Well,
and if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I'm not wrong about planting evidence. I'll tell you that.
It's funny because you've just literally named some of my nemesis there that I've tried to put to bed that I've argued with for over a year now with both different cases, different trials. I'm not going into an argument again, Julie. We're not fighting again, but that wasn't me who said that. So I'm trying to be a changed man. But no, I got you, man. I got you. But going back then there for a second. Do you think? Oh Jesus, these wires! It's plausible. Hang on, Mexi. One of my mods said something here. I'll answer this. So, but my thought. Hang on. No, you said something here, Mexi. Karen made a comment outside the courthouse with her attorneys, where she said she was covered in blood. I don't know what the hell that means, but I thought the comment was interesting. I think she was saying that, from my recollection, that she was full of blood because she's the only one giving CPR. So the blood's coming out of John's mouth and of his nose. She was covered in it because obviously she's doing CPR. No one else is doing CPR. And she said, you can see no one else gave a shit because no one else is covered in blood. I was covered in blood. And that stuck with me at the time. So do you think then, again, speculated because I've not looked into this, and I'd like to admit when I haven't looked into something in that form, not an expert in it, I'd like to say I'm speculating a little bit here, but I just find it odd that for about 5.5 hours he could be there. Now, I was under the impression, and again, the way you described it, I could be wrong here, that it was more likely that he may have been brought out to that place a couple of hours, maybe an hour before he was found. Because in my mind, maybe I'm wrong, but an hour in that weather, you can't survive. But he was still alive. 5.5 hours, I was a bit like, could he survive that? That's a genuine question. I didn't think he did. So that's why I was intrigued to hear what you thought. Do you think that he was there the whole time then? And
no,
what do you think?
I do not. No, I do not.
Cool.
I do not believe he was there the whole time because here's the thing. The plow driver, Lucky Loughran, tells us he wasn't there. Now, everyone says, all right, I'm going to tell you right now. I lived in Massachusetts most of my life, all right? I know how these plow drivers are, right? Now they have these stakes, right? All illuminated stakes by fire hydrants, right? They have to, listen, that's their job. They're going to be focused on these hydrants, all right? John was found feet away from that hydrant by the flagpole, right? He's up high, right, in these big plow trucks, right? He's got the halogen lights. If you can see them coming from a distance, they make the whole place look like it's daylight. He never saw a body, right? I don't know when he did 2 pass-throughs, right? The first time, I don't know, probably putting sand on the road, because it really wasn't snowing that much at that time, right? He would have saw it. The second time, he didn't see it, okay? He's got no reason to lie. As a matter of fact, they were going to probably pin it on him, right? There's word that they wanted him to, because he's a good guy, they probably wanted him to be reassigned to another route, okay? Someone was going to take the fall, and the cops would have investigated it, and it just would have been a big accident. Listen, there's a lot of things going on with this, but he would have been the sacrificial lamb. He probably would have said, what are you talking about? I never hit him. And they would have said, well, there's no evidence. Okay, John's dead. No one else is going to jail, and we'll close up shop. Listen, if they're trying to cover up a murder, they can cover up an assault and battery in the house. They could have covered that in a heartbeat. 911, he's hit. He attacked Brian. He attacked the other Brian. Who knows? They could have covered that in a heartbeat. They could have covered the plow driver in a heartbeat. They're trying to cover a murder, all right? And they make it worse. They up it to second-degree murder. And there's all this evidence against them, right? But the plow driver, 2 swipes, doesn't see it. Now he comes at the crucial time. He can't get down the street. If you're up at Cedar Crest, it's not that far, Dylan. It really isn't. You can look down. He sees a car out there, whether it's a Ford Edge or a spaceship. I don't give a shit what he saw. There's something that was there that shouldn't have been there because it wasn't there 2 times before, okay? Now, there's all kinds of theories about that. I can't comment on it. He saw it, not me, right? But if you think about it, it makes sense, right? Give cover from the deputy chief across the street. He would have seen some activity, right? Did he get brought down from the backyard, or did he get tossed out from the car? I wasn't there, right? Listen, I can't tell. Somebody who was there is going to tell that story. That's all I can tell you. Somebody will definitely tell this story. And I got to trust in my gut. I got to trust in how feds investigate. And to the Julie Carpenters and Karen McCormick's and Bray and Alex Arias and Kenny Dougal, all you guys, I feel bad. You took shots at me. That's fine. I'm an open book, right? I had a DUI 14 years ago. Big deal. Never missed a beat. As a matter of fact, 13 days after that arrest, I was on the stage in D.C. shaking Eric Holder's hand for the Attorney General's Award. All right. That's how significant you guys are killing me with. Like I said, attack me, right? Attack the messenger, right? That's all you have. I don't care who you are. That's all you have.
No, I love it. I mean, look, we're same peas in a pod. I mean, I think we've got similar beliefs. I think we've got similar ways of acting. I mean, I get attacked for my views all the time. They go on my LinkedIn. The same people go on my LinkedIn. They're everywhere, man. They're literally everywhere, trying to find more stuff about me. So respect to you. Don't let them get you down. They don't let me get me down.
Listen, I don't care. It was a low life in my life. It was a low life moment in my life. It ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. Let's
exactly.
put it like that. You want to kill me? Fine. I don't care. Doesn't matter.
Too positive.
I'm a better person for it. I am. And listen, doing what I did. Listen, I'm out here by myself. I know there's other law enforcement behind me. I do appreciate it, but I'm out here by myself. I spent 35 years at the prosecutor's table. I'm defending a woman who's killed a brother police officer. That should tell a lot of people how I believe. It wasn't easy, but I can't deny the evidence, right? Kevin Lenahan from Yellow Cottage Tales does not know how to interpret evidence, especially when he's hoodwinked by members of the other side. He's hoodwinked, and he's in for a very, very big surprise. And I hate to say it, he had his chance. Karen McCormick, you had your chance. Julie Carpenter, I see you there. I see you. You had your chance. It's all coming down. The house of cards is all coming down. It's coming down.
Oh, Julie.
That's it.
Where's Julie?
She's
I
there
don't-
somewhere. She says, I hear you, Dylan. She's there. Come on, she's everywhere.
Oh,
She
there we are.
caught
Hey,
me-
Julie.
She caught me at 3:00 in the morning, says I'm up early. I sleep with one eye open. Trust me.
I just love it. Look, I've had nothing against Julie for months. Me and Julie have had massive spats. I've left it. She's blocked me. I've blocked her. I'm away from it. But you know, I get it. I get the whole thing. Look, much love to everybody out there. Have your opinion, do respectfully. But who gives a shit that you had DUI and stuff like that? Many of them
Listen,
have had DUIs and everything. Who
trust
gives a
me.
fuck? We've
Trust
all
me.
got skeletons in our closets.
Hey.
Do you know what I mean? Right. What else have we got? So, right, I don't want to take much more of your time because
You can take as much time as you want. I got my work
anyway.
done. You take as much time as you want. Get it all out. Get it out now because you might not have a chance because the story's coming out. Take it out. Get all the time. Get it out. I'm here for you.
Well, it's one of these things again. We're going back to it. I mean, the main crux for me has always been, you know, the main storyline here, and it ends there. And what Dave jumped on and said, you can't go past the frigging taillight. So I mean, we can go on for days talking about all the testimony and all the evidence. I could be here all day. I'm enjoying speaking to you, but the relevance of it is not there. That's why I've stopped looking at everything because it's not even relevant anymore. It's not at all. But my other question to you then is, all right, so what's the next steps in all this for Karen? Because you know better than me. What is the next steps for her?
That's a great question, and people keep forgetting. Right? If this was just the Commonwealth, here's another thing about Jennifer: Massachusetts versus Karen. No, it's the Commonwealth versus Massachusetts. Karen Reed. No, if it was just this easy for Karen, okay, she would have to. She could sit right here. The Commonwealth puts their case on, right? They probably could ask for a directed verdict, right? But she would be absolutely exonerated. What people keep forgetting, why this is so important, is that the defense has taken on the second prong to prove the third party culpability, all right? This is where justice for John comes in, okay? Justice for John. And they have to produce the third party culpability to say, not only was it not our client, but it was these people, okay? It was these people, whoever those people are. Now, I did make an analogy, and I might be off base on this, right? I look at it this way. Karen Reed is a defendant in the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. She's accused of second-degree murder of John O'Keefe. If the FBI is involved the way I feel they're involved, right, and I believe wholeheartedly that her civil rights were violated, well, guess what she is to them? She's a witness / complainant for the federal investigators, right? So there's going to be a relationship between the defense and the feds, all right? You don't think when we were investigating cases, when I was a DEA agent, that I didn't speak to our witnesses, our guys who cooperated, our victims? What do these people think? That it's like taboo? I believe that her civil rights were violated. I believe the FBI knows that. I believe they did a public corruption case, all right? It's completely normal that she would be considered a victim / witness for the feds. She's a victim of having her civil rights violated. And guess what proves that? The fact that they're hiding the exculpatory evidence. Let's put it like this. Just the taillight itself. That's a civil rights violation to frame someone. Now, I can only imagine if there were wiretaps. I have no reason not to believe it. What they found on that cell phone and that office phone. The feds are very good at getting information. I can't comment on that. I can only theorize. I can only speculate. I guarantee they have a ton of information. And that's why it's so important. You're right, Dylan. What's the next step? They got to prove that John was killed inside that house. They got to prove that he was beaten to death and left to die outside. I believe. Look, when Sarah and Mulaney came on the scene, listen to Sarah's description. The victim was unresponsive and not breathing. Well, come on, he's dead. All right, in Massachusetts, you have to get the body temper up to a certain temperature to actually pronounce them. I never knew that. It makes complete sense. Listen, he was dead. That's it. He was dead. And nothing that Karen could do could save him, right? And the fact that Jen McCabe wouldn't even go into the house and get blankets for the poor guy. Come on. And Mrs. O'Keefe, Jen McCabe, right, called your son a man in the snow. She knew him for over 10 years. Start thinking, Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe. Start thinking, Paul. All right? Start thinking. Who lied to you? All right? Who has motive to lie? Karen Reed or the Commonwealth? You talk to the Commonwealth. You figure it out.
Yeah, that's strong. Yeah, it's. But the only thing I'd say there now, right? I mean, very good points. Push back on you one point, right? And
right.
that point is about proving, like a Carolina has to prove that he was killed inside and stuff like that. That's the problem. Why does she have to prove that?
Well,
you know what I mean?
because
it's. I get it. They
want to get justice. They want to get justice. They want to get justice. I'll tell you right now, as far as Karen Reed goes, her being exonerated with prejudice, because that has to be that, right, it means nothing. All right. She's been railroaded, right, for 2 years, right? She's been persecuted. She's been slammed. Listen, any adjective you want to use, okay, verb, whatever. The bottom line is this, right? It's in their interest. They took this responsibility on. And I kind of figured that maybe the feds have what they have. Had Proctor, listen, this is crazy. Had Proctor done his job, had Proctor been a real detective, right, and really wanted to, listen, you always go from, the macro to the finite, right? He never eliminated everyone. He never got the geofence. Do you know something? He doesn't even describe what the hell was going on in 34 Fairview. It was more important for him to talk about the waterfall and CF McCarty's, right? Who was drinking, who was kissing, than to tell us what the hell was going on in 34 Fairview. Was Brian Albert doing some jig, some dance? I don't know. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I know Matt McCabe was looking out the window. Why is Matt McCabe looking out the window? Is he a lookout? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, if they put John McCabe in that, John O'Keefe in that house, they're all going down at some level, some degree. If they put John O'Keefe inside that house, everyone in that house that was there, and they got the geofence. In other words, the geofence is going to be like this. Oh, John's cell phone's there. And all these other people's cell phones are there. And it's all corralled, all right? And here, there's a guy, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. There's a Jay Burke, okay? Made a great comment. I just saw, all right. And this is very crucial, Dylan. We know they lied. We know they lied about the taillight. That means anything that they say cannot be trusted. They can't be trusted on the data. Who controls the data? They do. Who controls the records? They do. Who didn't ask for the geofence? They didn't. Why? A good detective wants it all. And here's the other thing about the medical examiner, right? Well, we know from the hospital that the last record at the hospital was a domestic assault and battery. The decedent was hit by Karen, 90 pounds soaking wet, okay? So when we would bring the bodies to the ME's office, it was supposed to be sterile, all right? We didn't tell her or him anything, and they didn't tell us anything. We wanted our theory to be validated by the medical examiner's office, right? Now, for someone to say that his arms were abrasions is crazy. Is absolutely crazy, okay? Kevin Lenahan is putting all his eggs in the fact that the state police are not lying to him, right? And I know it's crazy for everyone to believe that so many people would be involved in a conspiracy. Well, guess what? They do get involved in conspiracy because someone at the very top of this whole pyramid is going to be identified who had enough juice to corrupt enough people to risk their careers and their freedom. It's obvious. It's obvious to me. It will be even clearer in 8.5 days or less.
You say 8.5 days. So what happens in 8.5 days?
Oh yeah. So 2 weeks ago, all right, there was a hearing, and it was supposed to be talking about the reasons why the defense wants to dismiss the indictment and attach sanctions to the Commonwealth. And make a long story short, a few things came out of that hearing. One of the most important things that came out of that hearing was the fact that the federal government, and I'll explain it to you, has agreed to go through a very stringent process called the TUI process. All right, the TUI process is when, try to get this right, is when the federal government has evidence. All right, but they're not directly involved in a case. Okay, say they got evidence. All right, and they're working on, let's just call it what it is, a public corruption case. All right, and the litigants, all right, are in a case like Karen and Morrissey. It's a murder case. But the FBI has no part of this. They're not witnesses. They've never been called to testify, right? So they're clean. But the big telltale was that the FBI started serving subpoenas to the witnesses that the state has. Now, this is not rocket science, right? So that tells Yannetti and Jackson, well, wait a minute. What the hell are the feds doing, right? So the bell was rung, and they said, okay. Yannetti said, we have asked the federal government to go through the process called TUI. It was a state Supreme Court decision that basically allowed, upon request, that the feds could, in fact, with good reason, provide exculpatory or evidence that inculpated. It goes both ways, right? But in this case, the Jackson Yannetti, if I get it right, asked the feds to say, if you have evidence that our client is innocent, would you please help us? And they went through this thing. So there was a conference call, Dylan, where they had the U.S. attorney, I believe, and they had Lally and Yannetti or Jackson on the phone, right? And it was discussed by Yannetti. And Yannetti said the TUI process was in effect. And at the very end, just as he's listen, Yannetti is masterful. He's masterful. At the very end, he slips this in. And by the way, Your Honor, all right, and the government the Commonwealth knows this. The United States attorney told us in good conscience, he cannot allow this case to go to trial. That means that the evidence is so damning and so critical and proves that Karen Read is innocent. That's what I'm talking about. So they had 2 weeks. So here's the thing. On February 15th, there's supposed to be another hearing where the defense is going to get up and argue every reason why the indictments should be dismissed against Karen. All right. And they're going to utilize the information that they probably already have in this hearing from the government, from the feds. And God knows what they have. All right. I'm sure they got the taillight. I'm sure that's all going to be brought up. I'm sure of that. Okay. But there's going to be other stuff. So just remember, all right, that's what I'm saying about 8.5 days. It could come out even sooner. If people don't lose their brains on the Commonwealth side, it could come out even sooner. All right. I just hope they have calm minds, calm actions, let the process work, right? Helena Rafferty, she said, let the process, well, I'm saying let the process work, okay? Let this work out. But we do have finite. We do have that on February 15th is D-Day. So, Dylan, you're in this at the perfect time. You really are, because history will be made. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So,
wrong,
so February 15th, put that in diaries.
If I'm wrong,
yeah. No, I can't. Yeah.
I don't think I am.
No, I don't think you are. And even if you know what, I think you're basing everything on knowledge and experience and evidence. And I think a lot of people don't do that. And you're ready to, if you are wrong, but hey, if you're wrong, I'm wrong, because even
I can tell
before
you
I saw
right
your
now,
video, I said exactly the same.
Dylan, think about this. Really, think about this. 37 pieces of that taillight they say they found, and it's at the goddamn friggin' driveway at 5:08 in the morning. Come on, who's shitting who here? All right.
Yeah.
They're saying 37. I heard sometime was 42 pieces. I don't know. Right. What I'm trying to get at, it's called the slippery slope. Anybody in internal affairs in my business, well, I had both. I had internal affairs. I had the OPR, Office of Professional Responsibility. Grant loves these people. Grant doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. OPR IAD, when agents and cops go bad, it's called the slippery slope, right? You lie once, you buy it. The second, third, fourth, fifth time gets easier, right? Who controlled the narrative? They did. Who lied in that affidavit? Listen, they lied in the affidavit, right? Now, all this other crap came, right? They're measuring yardsticks on this GPS stuff. Who controlled the GPS? Who controlled it? Who's saying that John never entered the house? Well, of course they are, right? Because they control the narrative. And the people are believing it. But guess what? They don't have, well, they could have had it. They could have very easily had it had there been open and honest detectives. They know what they were doing, all right? And you can't, listen, I'm telling you right now, it's called the fruit of the poisonous tree, all right? You take one piece of that fruit and it's poison, you can't eat any more fruit because it's done. They lied on the taillight. That means anything else they say is down the drain. They've lost all credibility. What am I, blocked? They must all, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're back.
Okay, what I'm trying to say, this is crucial. You lie once, you're done. You lose your credibility. When you swear, all right, on an affidavit in front of a judge or a magistrate or whatever the hell the person was, and you say, under the pains and penalty of perjury, I swear and attest that the information in this affidavit is true and direct to the best of my ability. When you know you smashed that light and you wrote that report 2 days, that affidavit 2 days later, you raised your hand knowing that you lied your ass off, all right? And we got you, you little son of a bitch. We got you, all right? Now, I can't tell you who put their hand down in the snow, but I can tell you, Proctor, you lied your ass off. And that's it. I'm sorry, pal. I don't know why. I don't know who had the gun to your head, all right? Because I don't think you're a bad guy. I don't. But you lied your ass off and you got caught. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all the other people. I'm going to call it like it is. And I'm not wrong on this, because I'll tell you right now, right? I got the smoking gun picture, right? You people are going to be fucking blown away when it comes out. Kevin has it, but he doesn't have the moral fortitude to tell the truth. Yeah. I don't know if you know him, Dylan. He's
no.
He's the guy from Yellow Cottage Tales, and I'm very upset because he's taking shots at me. He says I'm fucking delusional. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm fucked up. I don't think so. I'm sorry. I know I'm not, because I can tell you right now, there is no way 37 fucking pieces of that taillight is gone. And I'm telling you right now, when the guy says the right rear, right side, and I put a circle around, and I know, and listen, I know that's in evidence. It has to be, because there's not enough taillight to fucking bust and not be in. The whole thing's gone. I got the picture. The whole thing is gone. So I know the answer to the question. Dylan, ask me the question. Just ask me. I'll tell you right now. Ask me that question. Come on. You're in
I don't know
Europe.
what
I'm
I'm
here in
supposed to.
Florida. Sean, did they plant evidence, and how do you know? Ask that question. Ask
Sure.
it.
Did they plant evidence, and how do you know?
They planted evidence, and I know because I got the picture of when they smashed it. The whole right of that taillight that I circled is gone. And when Kevin says it's just a little piece is remaining, and I say a jagged edge, people, it's over. Elvis has left the building. It's done. Over. Is that good enough for you?
That's like breaking news.
It's breaking news. I'm telling you, it's done. And Kevin, you had your chance. All you other people had your chance. You didn't listen to me, right? You want to beat up on me? Fine. I'll take the lumps knowing I'm correct. And I'm doing this for Karen, and I'm doing it more for John. Nobody thought about that poor guy laying on the snow in the heinous, most vicious way that anyone could be killed, right? They beat the shit out of him. I don't know how he got the gash on his head. Listen, I wasn't there, but they beat the shit out of him. They put him out in the goddamn the lawn like a piece of trash. And there was 2 cops there, a federal agent and another cop. And you had the girl, Jen, who knew this guy for 10 years, texting or Googling house long to die in the cold. That's premeditation. I don't give a shit what you say. It's over. And they all deserve 20 to life. That's it. Worse. They deserve worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey,
I got Proctor. I got Proctor. Proctor, you're had. I don't give a shit. The best thing you could do was to get to that U.S. attorney and offer a proffer agreement. It's a timeout and give up. Give it all up. Try to save your ass. All right. I don't know if you did. I told you this weeks ago. Did you listen? I hope you did. Your 2 buddies at the bar looked like they were very depressed. Some picture came out, Dylan, of Telly and Yuri. They didn't look that happy after this grand jury, whether they win or not. I'm down here in Florida. I'm not up there. So that's it. I'm getting riled up because I'm passionate and I know what I know.
I fucking love it, man. Hey, this is what
and I'm doing it on your show. I've given up the most information I've ever given up, and I'm doing it here. And you're sitting in Wales. This is crazy. Yes. I love it.
Exactly. No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it because
I don't have my wife screaming at me saying, "Sean, shut up! All you do is talk. You never stop. You talk from 6 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the morning. Give it a fucking break." But it's great. Yeah, I could be free. I could be free to fucking scream and swear. This is great. I want this out. This is going to be a record. You're gonna keep it recorded, right?
Yeah.
This is the deal right here. This is the deal.
Hey, people,
deal.
Clip it. Anyone
whatever you got to do. I don't care. Whatever you do.
Them.
I'm not that good. I'm just saying.
No, you're great. Hey, listen. I ask from everybody that comes on this channel is transparency, passion, be yourself. Oh, fuck me, are you yourself? Do you know what I mean? This is exactly what we want. And I genuinely, people that want to use my content with Sean,
you could use me. You could steal it all. Steal everything. When it's the truth, okay? You can't listen. I don't have notes. I can speak for hours. I don't have notes. I'm not reading shit. Right? Yeah. I know this thing back and forward, left and right to left, front, back, front. I don't care. When you got the truth in your side, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I love it because people are generally, right? I'm speaking from experience. People look for clicks and stuff like that. You don't need clicks when you go the truth. The truth can be boring sometimes. It can be boring because who wants the truth sometimes? But we're interested in the truth, and the truth here is a bombshell. So I appreciate you sharing that with us because, man, I'm telling you, we're like I get shit down all the time by Erin Hack for speaking all the time because I just go around the houses speaking. Sure. So I get your wife. She's like my online wife, mate. Honestly, so I get it. I get abused all the time, but I love it because when you're passionate, you just speak. So I don't want to interrupt you. I just want to fucking let you go. Do you know what I mean? So whatever you want to say, whatever you got off your
No, I
chest,
just
fucking say
listen.
it. I don't care.
I'm just so frustrated. Listen, I'm frustrated. I've been in this fight
I can
since
see.
April. It's passion. It hits home to me because my mother and father lived in that house for 53 years. I never wanted to believe any Canton cop could be involved in this, any state trooper. But you know something? When you know what you know, you know. And I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what the hell made these guys. Yeah, I'll put it like this. I told Proctor. I said it to someone to get the message. Proctor, fall on your sword. Just say, okay, we didn't have the evidence. We feel that she did it, but we had no evidence. So we want to get the little pieces out where she cracked, because the taillight, like the head tech from Lexus and Naples told me, when you smack the taillight, the pieces go inside. And there's been rumored that someone told another cop that that's exactly what happened, right? And this is what the deal is. They wanted to get those pieces out because they had not. Let's face it, they had nothing. 2 inches of snow versus 22 inches of snow, and the poor cops up there in Canton found the glass, but nothing red. That piece of evidence is huge, right? The big chunk. You saw the footprint. It's pretty huge. It's not like a silver dollar like the other guy, Kevin, said. All right. So they had no evidence. Proctor, just say, you know something? I was overzealous. I'll fall on my sword. I'll give it up. Yes, we planted the evidence. I'm sorry. And I wanted my belief that Karen did it, and I'm wrong. He's going to have to say something. He's going to have to justify his actions. I gave him a way out. He didn't want to take it. So, and a big shout out to Don Deverell right there. This guy, Don Deverell, right? Yeah, Deverell, man, he is huge. He's on fire, and he's a big supporter of you, Dylan. And I see him right there. I can see him. So,
Don the main
Don's
man.
a great guy.
Don for being here.
Jay Burke, all these people, Tommy CPU. Listen, this is history right now.
I've heard of Tom CPU.
We're getting close.
Yeah.
We are getting close. And you know, my friends on the other side, I'm not going to call them trolls anymore, because you know, listen, this is like, what's your favorite soccer team, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Liverpool.
Manchester versus which. This is like any team, right? Everyone wants their side to win. Okay. Unfortunately, this game involves lives. You got a dead cop. You got people who are going to go to jail. And it's not going to be Karen Reed, I can tell you that. And, you know, unfortunately, and I'll say this again, the O'Keefe family is not going to win at all. All right. All right. The biggest win they could have is that their beliefs and what they were sold would come true. It's not. They're going to be told, if they haven't already been told. If I was Levy, all right, I would have had a sit down with Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe, private, and just say, Mr. and Mrs. O'Keefe, I'm very sorry, but this is our evidence, and you need to prepare yourself. All right. That's what I would do. All right. Why would they want to hear something that's going to come out publicly? One way or the other, it's going to come out. I would think, knowing how professional the U.S. Attorney's Office is and the FBI, I would think they would have a sit down with that family and say, people, listen, we're sorry, but this is the truth, right? But they're not going to win. Their poor son is dead. They lost their daughter. They lost their son-in-law. This is a nobody wins on that family. Really, does anybody win? Really? I mean, you got a poor guy that was killed in the most heinous way, all right? And like I said, it floors me, the arrogance that these people had to pull the wool over our head. So anyways, what else you got? What other questions you got?
Right, hang on, before I go, Bunghole, thank you, Bunghole, for becoming a member. Appreciate you for that. It really does help me out. Jonathan, thank you for becoming a member. Really helps me out. We got Paul Sullivan here as well. Hi, Sean and Dylan. I'm a retired Boston policeman, and Sean is 100% correct. So Paul, that's probably nice for you.
Let me tell Paul something. You're a retired BPD. Love it. I love it. I'll give you one little hint. Prior to me writing a letter to Chief Rafferty. I was in the shadows. I never came. I was on Facebook groups and all this happy horse shit. I came up to Canton in June to sell my dad's house. I had my dad in Naples. I was his caretaker, but I drove up to sell his house. I ate for 5 days, lunch and dinner at the Hillside pub, where most of this shit was being talked about and all this other stuff, right? I had dinner with several friends of mine, Boston cops. I'm not going to name them. And they had great insight, and they told me, Sean, listen, Brian Alberts, listen, he's a good guy, but he's got some issues in his background, and we all believe that it's a cover-up. Okay, so fine. I left. I never said one thing at all. I never gave them any insight. Okay, and I came public. Sadly, and Paul Selvin will probably be shocked. None of those guys have reached out to me. All those guys that I know on the police department. I don't know. I mean, if you're a friend, you're a friend. But they haven't reached out to me. It's sad, and I get it. Listen, I guess I flipped. I guess I'm a traitor. I don't know. But someone had to step up for. Someone had to step up for John, because the Canton cops didn't. The state police didn't. No one did. I felt almost duty bound to do what I could do to step up for John and get justice for him. And also, let's face it, to help Karen. But my whole motivation was the poor cop on the ground that he's forgotten about. He's forgotten. They don't want justice for him. Their hatred for one guy and their disdain for Karen has basically ruined them in trying to get justice for John. And that's all I can say. But it's sad. I mean, guys that I thought were my friends, they've disappeared.
I look, on an empathetic note, right? Before I go into that, thank you, Suzanne, for becoming a member. And thank you to Erin Hack for giving up 20 memberships. What a fucking legend you are. So thank you very much. It means the world to me, Erin. Thank you very much. But man, I resonate with you, because you truly do at one point or another find out who your true friends are. And sometimes it's when you're at your lowest that you find out who's got your back, who's your ride or dies and stuff like that. But man, what I'll say to you is that you may have lost, or you may not be as close as some people you thought you were, but I can tell you now, there's hundreds of people, even in this stream, everywhere, that are so grateful. I'm genuinely, right, if I was doing this on my own, I'd probably have about 15 people watching right now. There's over 300 people here. They're not here for me. Wow. They're here for you. That's amazing. Genuinely, I'll say they're not here for me, and I know that. I'm not being like, getting violins out. I don't give a fuck about that. The fact that you're able to speak about it, the fact that you are a man of integrity, the fact that you are willing to put things to the side, use your tools that you've garnered, your knowledge you've garnered over the last 35 years, being able to put it into good use, being able to share that knowledge with other people. It's giving people like Karen a voice. Giving the innocents a voice, really. I believe you can see my background says innocent unless proven guilty. I generally would hope that everyone has that mentality. They don't. Trust me, they don't. People go into every trial with a mindset of guilty and stuff like that, based on podcasts, Netflixes and stuff like that. What you're doing is you're outlining a similar way that I try to do on a lower level of pointing to people. These are the facts. What you bring to is these are the facts, and this is why they're factual. This is why this is the truth. This is why, with my years of experience, this has worked. The fact that you're sharing that with people, don't underestimate that. I'm not trying to preach here, but please don't underestimate, because I'm benefited greatly here. Everyone in chat's benefited. And I genuinely, on no lie, you've got hundreds of people that without you, I'm not sure. I don't know what people would think about this case. So you keep fighting the good fight, my man, because we need more people like you. That's what you are right now, is what I aspire to be one day. A fighter of truth. I want to, but I've not got that platform yet. But once I do, and I get that, bet my bottom dollar, I'm fighting for the truth all the way. So, your credit, your inspiration. So don't, fuck those people that are alleged friends, wherever. Man, they're not worth it. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm not just with Karen, but hopefully you're able to delve into a lot more stuff in the future as well, because what you bring is something that's quite unique. I don't know anyone else in your position that does what you do. So I don't know. I just feel quite emotional with you going off on one there, but I was like, man, Jesus. So with that, we got, as I say, we got a few people here. Dave Cullidane's in the chat here going, Jesus, they're still talking. We are, but I'm gonna wrap it. I've got, hang on. We got Erin Hack give 20 memberships. Suzanne, thank you very much, Hack. So shout out to some of the members who are Hearns, Opal, Dilly what? Dilly Pickles, Sarah Glenn, Candice Hoff, Edward Scott, Dog Mama, James Jenkinson, Shona Crawford, Cohen, fucking that's too many here. Terry Bolton, Jess Rubery. I have questions about everything. I love that. 15 Trogs, Michael Beeston, all these people, welcome, thank you, love you all. Erin, I love you as well. Now, my man, I genuinely I feel this, right? There's so much that we could dive into, so much more that we could dive into with the phone calls, the data, and everything like that. There's so much more. But my reason is for not doing it right now is because it's all complete bullshit. We don't need it, is in my opinion. It starts and stops with the tail light. I would be interested. So I've got one question on the data though that I don't know the answer to, that you might. In terms of what that Grant, wherever was saying, and those people online were saying about Karen went to the house 2 times that evening. Isn't there online data within the car? I know with the Murdoch case, for instance, they used GPS data from within the car to map it all out. Wouldn't the Canton Police Department be able to just do that and get all that, or not?
Listen, they control the narrative, right? This is like a Hail Mary pass for them. They say a lot of stuff. They're talking a lot of stuff, but they're not showing it, right? If you look at the Commonwealth's evidence, right? On certain videos, they do a description. On other videos, they just say it's there. I can tell you right now, there's no way that Karen went back to that house. Just no way. Okay. She didn't move John's car, right? She never touched John's car. We know who touched John's car. All right. We know that. All right. She came home at 12:41. She stayed up. She probably made 1,000 phone calls. Listen, I've been on the other end. I made thousands of phone calls one time. You get nervous, right? You don't know what's going on. And finally, she got herself to bed. I don't even think she was supposed to be at that house that night. She was supposed to be back in Mansfield for some reason. Okay. So she's probably pissed off, right? Listen, I can't answer for Karen. I'm just basically saying there was no way, because if they did, if they had it, some one of those guys would have leaked it. I'm telling you, some of them would have leaked it by now. They're crucified. They have nothing. They have nothing to show for it. The taillight kills them, and they're trying everything in their power to ruin it. But guess what? If they had the evidence, there'd be no need to plant the evidence. That I'll rest it on that. No, Grant's full of it. He's gotten 0 receipts. They have nothing, right? Jennifer Coffindaffer, she has nothing. She has ruined her credibility by the position she took. And I feel bad for her, but guess what? It's going to come out. And maybe I'll be on the show with Vinnie Politan, Jen, and we'll talk about it. I love it. I don't know if I'll get that chance, but I welcome the chance to talk about this. Maybe this show will get back to Atlanta, where Vinny holds his show at.
Well, it's interesting. I do a show where we start the day with Matt Moore, who was allegedly killed his wife and got found innocent. So he did a show with Vinny not long ago, and he gave me a shout out on Core TV. He gave this channel a shout out. So hey, never say never. He might do it. Hopefully you get on there as well. look, as I say, there's shit tons we can discuss, but I don't want to discuss it because it's not relevant, I don't think, at the minute. What I do want to do, though, is bring you back. I know Mike is going to have you back. I don't want to piss all over Mike. I know Mike, I got you from Mike. Mike, thank you so much for bringing Sean to my life. Because I think, that's without him, I wouldn't have seen. Thank you to Erin and everybody for bringing me to this. But I also believe in not shitting over other people. So I know Mike will probably want you back on and stuff like that. So happy days. Sure. But I definitely want you back on here as well. We'll get Cullen Hayne involved because he's a little bitch in chat at the minute. So we'll get him in to talk his shit. But I do want to talk to you after, 8.5 days.
Okay,
where are we at?
You have
Brilliant.
You have my attention there, my friend, and
yeah,
thank you for what you're doing. Listen, you're in your country. You're bringing the message to your country and to your platform. All right, this is the type of stuff we need. We need people to realize how bad corruption can be. This was all about corruption. Okay, it's not. Canton police have always had an air of corruption. I hate to say it. I'm sorry. That's just, listen, I talked to too many cops have called me. All right. Too many decent cops have called me and told me about the corruption. And it starts, listen, it's the slippery slope. And the longer you are involved in it, the easier it is the next time. So I don't know what they have on Canton. I understand that it was very tense in that locker room, that bay, whatever the hell they have in that station. But I know it was very, very tense. And who knows who the FBI has. All right. I know how they work. We used to do the same thing. And you have all the cards, you never show them. That's how you do it.
Hold on, there's something funny here. I gotta share. So breaking news for J-Man. Grant, he means it. Grant announces the whole incident that he passed out at the dentist from a needle today. Feel sorry for him. This is Grant on Twitter. He's at the dentist. So poor Grant. Cullen Hayne is like, don't stop being a pussy, sissy, and sign Sean to exclusive streaming deal. Absolutely. We will do something. I'll DM you. We'll get something going.
You got me, Dylan. You got me.
Or something. So there we are. Thank you to everyone here as well. I really appreciate all of you guys being here and supporting, not just myself, but Sean. He'll be back on to hear what happens after the 15th. And then we'll share more stories. I know there's questions about the dog bites and everything like that, but do you know what I mean? It's just like, where do we stop with all this bullshit? So my number one aim with this channel is get the truth out there. I do not believe that Karen did any of this stuff. I think she's purely innocent. We can speculate as much as we want about dog bites, what happened to him, and all that. But let's stick to the facts. We know is Taylor was intact at 5:08 a.m. on the morning, and she could not have hit him at that time. And there's no way she's reversing 24 miles per hour into the back of him. The plow driver has not seen anything. The lights and everything does not show. There's just so many inconsistencies in this. So, and I'm go on, Sean. What do you want to say?
After Trump hoax, he called it a hoax. This is the biggest hoax that ever was. I can tell you that. I'm wearing his shirt and his hat. Law enforcement for Trump. This is the biggest hoax after the Trump disaster. That I'm telling you, they'll be talking about this case for decades to come. It's a hoax. The whole thing's been a hoax, and it's all coming apart.
Yeah. Well, there we are. And I know that I've got a guy here called Jonathan, and he's an absolute hero of mine. He's been, with me for months and months. You've just given a shout out to Trump. He is absolutely in the back now, sleeping with his blanket. He's absolutely happy days now. He's got all the gear for Trump as well. So I'm not a political channel, but that's Jonathan, fine, you just made his day. You just made his absolute day today. So thank you for that. And as I say, I'll speak to you in the DM if I arrange you for the next one. Thank you, everybody. I believe you're going to be redirected, guys. You don't obviously have to go to that other stream. It's a quadruple homicide stream that we're filming. If you do get redirected, please give it a like before you piss off. I'd really appreciate that. If not, that's fine. But yeah, thank you to everybody. And yeah, I'll see you in about another week or so, guys, when we got Sean back. So with that, we'll peace out, and I'll put the ending on. And take care, guys. Catch you later. Ta-ra.
Thank you.